Sunlight filtered through the cracks of the edge planet Charon, illuminating the rusted steel of the abandoned hangar. Ziqing wiped the sweat from her forehead and squatted next to the forgotten remains of a mecha. This place was the backyard where she grew up, and it was full of garbage from the old era of the Federation, broken energy pipelines, burned control panels, and fragments of those legendary mechas that once galloped across the stars. As a trainee mecha pilot of Charon Mining Company, her job is to repair simple mining machines, and her life is as monotonous as the sand on this planet. Ziqing, are you in a daze again? The boss said that today he will inspect the ore transport machine in the East District. Don't poke those junk there. A gruff voice came from the entrance of the hangar. It's Lao Zhongqiu, a senior mechanic in the mine. He has a weathered face and always likes to hold an electronic cigarette in his mouth. Ziqing turned around and smiled. Uncle Zhong, I know. But there might be some treasure hidden in this pile of scrap metal. I heard that the Federation's expedition fleet crashed near here, and the mechas inside were legendary items that could fire energy cannons. As she spoke, she used a wrench to pry open a sunken hatch, and dust blew into her face. Lao Zhong shook his head, walked over and knelt down. Legends? Ha, kid, you have read too many interstellar adventure novels. On the edge of this planet, all good things have been smuggled out by smugglers. Focus on your work. The shadow of rebellion in the Federation has not dissipated, and the border is unstable. Who dares to touch those lost technologies? He patted her shoulder, turned and left, leaving Ziqing to continue rummaging alone. She didn't really believe those stories, but she always had a dull feeling in her heart. Charon is a remote place on the edge of the Milky Way. Humans have colonized the Milky Way for hundreds of years, but it is still like the desert of the old Earth. The mechas are just tools for workers to mine. Ziqing dreams of piloting a real combat mech, breaking through the atmosphere, and chasing the twinkling stars. But what about reality? She was only in her early 20s and she had to work hard in this hellish place. Her fingers touched something cold. She dug it out and saw that it was a thumb-sized data chip with a vague federal logo engraved on the surface and scorch marks around it. What is this? Ziqing muttered to herself, carefully inserting her portable scanner. The screen lit up, and a string of garbled characters popped up, but the words, Lost Mecha, Prototype E7 vaguely flashed. Her heartbeat accelerated. This was not something from the mine. This was an ancient military chip. She quickly found a hidden corner and started the encryption cracking program. This thing is a second-hand software she got from the black market. If she's lucky, she can get some clues. The screen flickered, and the data slowly unraveled. A vague star map, marking the ruins of the expedition fleet on the galactic frontier, and a brief record, Rebellion signal interference, Mecha E7 lost contact, beacon positioning energy cannon core. Ziqing's eyes widened. This is the legendary Lost Mecha. The kind of behemoth that can dominate the space battlefield is said to be equipped with a destructive energy cannon that can crush a fleet with one blow. That's crazy. She whispered, heat welling up inside her. Growing up, I heard the older generation tell stories about the glory of the Federation, with expeditionary fleets patrolling the frontiers and protecting humanity from alien threats. But recent rumors say that the shadow of internal rebellion hangs over everything, and if someone cracks the lost technology, they can turn over. This chip is her chance. She decided that she could no longer rot in Charon and had to leave here to pursue the legendary Mecha. Growth starts now. Just as she was putting away the chip and preparing to slip out of the hangar, the roar of an engine came from outside. Ziqing looked around and saw 3 modified smuggler mechas emerging from behind the dunes, spraying blue light from illegal energy shields. They are Callan's Cancer, specializing in looting mine ruins. I heard that they have recently targeted old military sites. Hey, little girl, hand over what you're holding. The leading smuggler poked his head out of the Mecha's cockpit, his voice buzzing through the loudspeaker. His Mecha was a patchwork of old stuff, and its arm cannons shone fiercely. We saw you digging. The treasures of the frontier are not something a novice like you can touch. Ziqing's heart sank. She glanced at the simple mining machine beside the hangar. It was his only mount, a bulky four-limbed Mecha equipped with basic thrusters and a low-power laser gun. Normally used for mining, now? She gritted her teeth. You smugglers, the Federation will deal with you sooner or later. This thing belongs to me, get out of here. The smuggler laughed. Federation? Ha, they are busy fighting among themselves and rebelling. Brothers, come on. 3 Mechas rushed over, causing dust to fly. Ziqing jumped into the cockpit with a single stride, the system started, and the joints of the Mecha made a creaking sound. She was a novice and had only trained in simulation, but her intuition told her that now was not the time to hesitate. Come on, she growled, thrusters firing, and the Mecha jumped awkwardly, dodging the first laser blast. Smuggler fire grazed her shields and sent sparks flying. Ziqing pulled the joystick, and the Mecha's mechanical arm swung out, hitting an enemy aircraft in the leg. The guy stumbled, and she took the opportunity to fire, the laser hitting a joint and bursting into flames. Damn it, this girl has 2 tricks up her sleeve, roared the second smuggler, outflanking him. His Mecha was faster, and the energy blade scratched Ziqing's back armor, and she felt the cabin vibrate. Stop it! Ziqing's mind was spinning. Outside the hangar was the open desert. She couldn't fight hard, she had to escape. In an inner flash, she remembered the technique she used during training, using the terrain. Charon's sand dunes were treacherous, and she yanked the control stick, sending the mech diving into a depression, the sand covering her tracks. You want to capture me? Dreaming. She said to herself, and at the same time activated the scanner to monitor the enemy's location. The leading smuggler chased after him. Don't run away, little girl. That chip is valuable, and we can fetch it for a big price on the black market as a clue to the signal of rebellion. Ziqing was stunned by his words. Rebellion? Signal interference was mentioned in the chip. How much do these people know? But there was no time to think about it now. She jumped back and fired the Mecha's laser gun, destroying the third pursuer's propeller. The Mecha rolled and fell into the sand. The remaining 2 were approaching, and Ziqing's shield was in danger. Sweat slipped into her eyes, she took a deep breath, and her tenacity surged into her heart. Can't lose, this is her starting point. She targeted the leader's weakness, the Mecha's old energy core was exposed. Take a hit from me, she shouted, the Mecha sprinted, and the laser hit the core. The explosive fireball engulfed the enemy aircraft, and the aftermath shook her Mecha. Seeing that the situation was not going well, the last smuggler turned around and ran away. Get out. This girl is a monster. Ziqing did not pursue her. She gasped and climbed out of the cockpit, surrounded by smoke from the Mecha. She survived the first actual battle. Intuition saved her, that keen sense, like the guidance of the stars. As night fell, Ziqing hid in a secret cave and restarted chip cracking. The program runs, this time deeper. The star map becomes clear, pointing to the ruins of the expedition fleet on the galactic frontier, a wreckage area forgotten by the mutiny signal. The E-7 Mecha is there, and there are beacons that can locate the energy cannon. She murmured, her eyes shining. The cosmic crisis is looming, and the shadow of rebellion is swallowing the Federation like a black hole, but she will not back down. Packing her bags, she looked at the stars. The dust of Charon is about to be left behind, and the fire of adventure is already burning brightly. The call of the expedition fleet is waiting for her to answer. Ziqing's simple mining mecha roared under the Charon night sky, its thrusters emitting blue plasma tail flames. She jumped out of the cave and headed straight for the old launch shaft on the edge of the mine, which she had secretly modified as a temporary takeoff point. Laura Zhangto's words were still echoing in her ears. The border was unstable, but she couldn't control that much. The data chip was in her breast pocket, burning her determination like a fire. The mech lumbered up the ramp, the hatch closed, and she pulled the controls, engines roaring. The dust was left behind, and the desert of Charon quickly shrank to a dusty dot. When passing through the atmosphere, the mecha shook as if it was about to fall apart, and the shield sounded a piercing alarm. Ziqing gritted her teeth, and her intuition guided her to adjust the angle to avoid excessive ablation. Finally, the starry sky opened its arms, and the boundless darkness was dotted with the arms of the Milky Way. She activated the autopilot and her destination was the anchor station on the frontier, that infamous space station full of smugglers, bounty hunters, and remnants of the scattered fleet. The star map on the chip points to that vicinity, and the ruins of the expedition fleet are floating around. If she wanted to find the lost mecha, she would need allies, and she couldn't do it alone. The anchor station is like a huge metal honeycomb, suspended in the shadow of the asteroid belt. Ziqing's mecha slowly docked, its mechanical claw hooked onto the docking arm, and the hatch slid open. She climbed out and took a deep breath of air mixed with engine oil and ozone. The station was as lively as a night market in the old Earth city, and the passages were crowded with all kinds of people, miners wearing goggles, tattooed mercenaries, and squat vendors selling black market parts. The federal propaganda echoed on the radio, "Protect the border and crush the rebellion." But everyone knows that the loyalty in this place is thinner than the shield of a mecha. New face, miss. How long do you want to park your old train? A station attendant looked over from the console, his eyes narrowed. Just one night, Ziqing tossed out a few federal credit coins. Help me find a maintenance bay, the engine can't hold on anymore. The maintenance cabin is on the ground floor of the station, with dim lights and tools and half-disassembled parts all over the floor. When Ziqing was bending down to check the energy pipeline of the mecha, a deep voice sounded from behind. "Hey, isn't that Charon's old mining machine? The thruster is welded crookedly. Did you change it yourself? You're not shy." She turned around and saw a man in his early 30s, wearing greasy overalls and with an old fleet badge tattooed on his arm. His hair was messy, his eyes were shining with sharp light, and he was holding a welding gun in his hand. "My name is Lin Haoran, an engineer at this station. I specialize in repairing the legacy of the expedition fleet. If you don't mind, I can help take a look." Ziqing took a step back warily, but his eyes did not look greedy like a smuggler's. "How do you know I'm from Charon?" Lin Haoran smiled and wiped the black oil on his hands. "You can tell by the smell of the sand and dust of the mecha. The edge planets on the frontier are all the same, gray-faced. I used to be in the expedition fleet and repaired real combat mechas, not this toy digging in the ground like you." He approached the mecha and knocked on the outer shell. "Is the shield module broken? Come on, let me take a look." Ziqing hesitated. The secret of the chip could not be revealed easily, but she needed help. "Okay, but let me be clear first, I'm not here to hang out. I have a clue about the lost mecha E7. Have you heard of it? That legendary thing with an energy cannon." Lin Haoran's movements paused and his eyes lit up. "E7? Ha, of course I've heard of it." The prototype of the expedition fleet was said to have lost contact due to the interference of mutinous signals. Its core is a beacon that can locate and fire destructive energy cannons. The top federal officials blocked the news, but it is spreading on the black market. Do you have any clues? Don't tell me, you little girl really found a treasure. She took out the chip from her pocket and projected a blurry star map. This is fished from the ruins of Charon. It points to the wreckage area near the Iron Anchor Station. I need to repair the mecha and go explore it. If it is real, I want to retrieve it. Are you interested in joining? It's too dangerous to do it alone. Lin Haoran stared at the star map, frowning, and nodded after a long while. I've always suspected that aliens were not responsible for the mutiny signal incident. After the fleet dispersed, I was picking up rags here, and I always felt that there was someone inside. Okay, I'll join. But repair the mecha first. Your thrusters are leaking energy, and you will be a target when you get out. He threw her a wrench. Here, help me remove the outer armor. Let's chat while repairing. The two men worked hard, and the sound of metal collision echoed in the cabin. Ziqing handed over the tools and asked, "Why did you leave the fleet? It sounds like you have a lot of experience." In the year of the mutiny, I was in the logistics and saw signal interference paralyzing the communication network. The captain ordered a retreat, and it took me half a night to escape. Later, the Federation said it was an alien threat, but I didn't believe it. The signal was too precise, like man-made. Lin Haoran said while welding, sparks flying, lost mecha. If there is an E7, we can crack the conspiracy. Come on, try the new pipeline. After repairing it, they slipped out of the anchor station in Ziqing's mecha and sneaked into the nearby wreckage area. Space is like a silent cemetery, with broken holes floating among asteroids, and traces of energy burning on the surface. Lin Haoran drove a borrowed reconnaissance boat, followed by Ziqing's mecha. Scan the wreckage over there, he said over the comm, to see if there are any remaining beacons. The mecha's claws hooked on a twisted metal plate, and Ziqing pried it open. Inside was a burnt-out console, with the data cable still glinting slightly. Haoran, look at this. She transmitted the image. Lin Haoran zoomed in on the screen and his face darkened. This is the interference trace of the early mutiny signal. The frequency pattern is exactly the same as the fleet file. It is not random, it is a targeted hacker attack. Damn it, someone is working from the inside to disable the mecha's positioning system. He typed on the keyboard. The E7 beacon was probably misled by this signal and drifted to the farther edge. Ziqing's heart sank, but her intuition told her that this was a clue. Then we have to keep digging. We can't let the rebellion succeed. As soon as he finished speaking, the alarm sounded. 3 red dots popped up on the radar, an alien reconnaissance ship, a black body shaped like a spider, darting out from the shadow of the wreckage. Their tentacle scanners flashed, locking onto their location. Confederate dogs. This wreckage is our hunting ground, a synthesized voice roared over the radio in a rough, translated tone. Alien predators specialize in picking up bargains after rebellion, Lin Haoran cursed. I'll cover you, use your mecha to top them. Ziqing's pulse quickened, and the lights in the cockpit reflected her face red. Copy that. The mecha jet propelled and rushed towards the nearest enemy ship. The alien ship's tentacles fired plasma beams, grazing her shields and shaking the cabin. She ducked and dodged, her intuition guiding like lightning, not fighting head-on, using the wreckage as cover. Turn left, Haoran. Give me fire support, she shouted as Lin Haoran's scout boat opened fire from the flank, lasers piercing the vacuum. The first enemy ship approached, its tentacles wrapped around it. Ziqing yanked the control stick, and the mecha rolled, hooked on a floating hull fragment, and turned back to smash into the enemy. The shock wave of metal collision caused the enemy ship to yaw, and she locked on the weak point, the exposed energy node. Take this one. The laser gun fired continuously and hit the node. The enemy ship burst into orange flames and scattered fragments. Good job. But don't be careless, there are 2 more. Lin Haoran said excitedly, his boat circled to contain them. The second ship outflanked it from behind, raining down plasma. Ziqing felt sweat dripping down her face, but her mind was clear. She remembered Charon's dune battles, terrain was key. The space debris here is her dune. She drove the Mecha to sneak into the wreckage of a half-destroyed mothership, luring the enemy deeper. The enemy ship pursued him, waving his tentacles randomly and getting stuck on the broken beam. Now! She jumped out, swung her mechanical arm, and broke the base of the tentacle. The laser followed up and hit the core, and the second ship turned into a fireball. The last boat saw that the situation was not good and tried to escape. Lin Haoran pursued, but Ziqing was faster. I'll do it. Her mecha accelerated, relying on intuition to predict the trajectory, and destroyed the thruster with a precise shot. The enemy ship lost control, hit an asteroid, and was wiped out. There was silence in the communication for a moment, and Lin Haoran whistled. Oh my God, little Ziqing, your intuition is so natural. Kill 3 scout ships in the first actual battle? I'm convinced. From now on, if you say east, I will never go west. Ziqing gasped and smiled, feeling a warmth surge in her heart. It feels good to go from being a lone wolf in Charon to now having a partner. Thanks, Haoran. We are not here to play, now, gather the ships. There are scattered remnants of the expedition at the Iron Anchor Station, and I heard there are a few independent transport ships hanging around. Go and convince them to join. They returned to the space station. Lin Haoran contacted old acquaintances, and Ziqing stood on the command platform, facing 5 or 6 captains, bearded mercenaries and tired engineers. Everyone, the mutiny signal is still raging, and the Federation can't hold on any longer. I have clues about E7. We can find the lost Mecha, fire energy cannons, and end this chaos. Who will do this with me? A captain shook his head. Little girl, what do you know? The border is too dangerous. Ziqing looked directly at him and said in a firm voice, I just killed the alien reconnaissance ship in the wreckage area. Working alone is a dead end, only unity can survive. Haoran has joined, what about you? Lin Haoran nodded in agreement, she's right. This is not a gamble, it's an opportunity. After hesitation, the captain of the first transport ship stretched out his hand and said, Okay, count me in. But you have to prove your leadership. Ziqing clenched her fists and held his hand. The initial team was formed, and she felt that she had changed, no longer the dazed miner girl, but a leader who could command everyone. The flame of the expedition is burning brighter and brighter. The berthing area of the anchor station became lively. 3 independent transport ships had docked. The low roar of their engines was like the breathing of old friends, mixed with the sizzling sound of welding guns and the shouts of the crew. Ziqing stood on the temporary command platform, looking at this newly made team, led by Haoran's reconnaissance boat, followed by the patched Iron Shark. The captain was a bearded man named Lao Wang, who specialized in transporting black market parts. Next to him was the Xingmang, which was crowded with stragglers from the former expedition fleet. The leading adjutant looked reluctant, but still nodded and agreed to join. The last ship is Shadow, a modified cargo ship. The captain is an aunt with a squinting smile. It is said that she has fished out many mutinous wrecks on the border. Their fleet gathered slowly, their engines roaring and pointing deeper into the starry sky. The shadow of rebellion is still there, but Ziqing knows that the adventure has just begun. Okay, everyone, don't waste time. Ziqing clapped her hands, her voice cutting through the noise. We are not here to have a tea party. Haoran, assign them a task. The Iron Shark is responsible for supplying. The guys from Xinguang are scanning the surrounding wreckage, and the shadows are exploring the path with us. The target is the E7 beacon. Whoever finds the clue first will get double the reward. Lao Wang poked his head out of the cabin and blew out smoke. Little girl, you are a decent leader. But the star map on the frontier is as messy as a mess. What if we hit a mutiny signal? Last time, the communication on my ship was paralyzed for half a night, and I almost starved to death in the asteroid belt. Lin Haoran raised his head from the console next to him and wiped the sweat from his forehead. I'm keeping an eye on the signal. Lao Wang, has your Iron Shark's shield been upgraded? Don't become a target then. He turned to Ziqing and lowered his voice. These stragglers don't have high loyalty. You have to let them see what you are capable of, otherwise there will be chaos inside. Ziqing nodded, feeling nervous. Her transformation from a lone miner in Charon to the leader of this small fleet felt like she was stepping on clouds, exciting, but also wobbly. During the conversation, the fleet slowly left the station, its thrusters emitting blue flames and sliding into the shadow of the asteroid belt. The communication channel was buzzing with chatter among the crew. Some joked about rumors that lost mechas were sold in the tea houses on the frontier, those hidden space bars. Some complained that the Federation's supplies were as thin as gruel. Hey, Ziqing, I heard that your mecha was welded by yourself, the Starburst's adjutant interjected in the channel, his voice with a border accent, as if he had drunk low-quality synthetic wine. Charon's miner girls are so courageous. We have seen the prototype of the E7 in the expedition fleet before. The energy cannon can flatten asteroids with one shot. But when the mutiny signal came, everything went into chaos. Stop talking nonsense and focus on scanning. Ziqing shot back, but the corner of her mouth curled up into a smile. These conversations made her feel like the team was taking shape, like the dunes of Charon, connected by the wind. The assembly operation accelerated for 2 days. They bypassed several mining areas and retrieved some old parts. Lin Haoran was so busy that he installed temporary upgrades on Ziqing's mecha, a reinforced shield and a medium-sized laser cannon. This thing was dismantled from the Iron Shark, he said while welding. Your intuition and this firepower are enough to sustain a tough battle. But remember, the mecha is not a toy. I have adjusted the energy pipeline, so don't spray randomly. During Ziqing's test drive, the mecha responded like an arm and a finger. She dodged a bunch of imaginary enemies in the virtual simulation and laughed out loud. Haoran, your craftsmanship is much better than that of Charon's blacksmith. It feels like you have wings. Just as the fleet's morale was high and it was preparing to penetrate deep into the wreckage area, the signal of mutiny came, not silently, but intensifying like a storm. The communication channel suddenly froze, and the noise was like howling ghosts and wolves, mixed with distorted federal codes. The mole, retreat, energy cannon. The intermittent clips made the crew members explode. Damn it, this signal is coming again. Lao Wang yelled on the channel, it was this damn thing that blinded the navigation on my ship last time. What about now? Who knows if someone is playing tricks on the ship? The adjutant of the Starburst immediately fired back, Old Wang, your Iron Shark is full of black market goods, maybe you are a mole. The Federation said the rebellion was caused by aliens, but to me it looks like it was done by humans. The channel was noisy, Ziqing's cockpit lights flickered, and the signal waveforms on the data screen were erratic. She took a deep breath and dialed the emergency channel. Shut up. Suspicions can't solve the problem. We are a team, not a market. Haoran analyzed the source of the signal. It has strengthened and points to the old fortress in the northeast. That place is the abandoned outpost of the expedition fleet, and there may be clues. Follow me on the shadow to explore, Queen Iron Shark and Starlight. Don't let the signal paralyze your system. Lin Haoran responded quickly, Roger. The signal frequency has changed, and it seems to be locking us. The fortress has an old energy module. I can repair it, but be careful. A lot of people were lost there during the rebellion. The internal tension was as tight as a rope, and the captain's conversations were full of gunpowder, but Ziqing's order temporarily stabilized them. She took the lead in her upgraded mech, followed closely by the shadow, sliding into the shadow of the fortress. It was a behemoth, like a forgotten behemoth, its surface covered with craters and charred muzzles, suspended in a ring of asteroids. The fortress's old communications tower still shimmered slightly, like a remnant of breathless souls. Scan the entrance, Ziqing said to Yueying's captain's aunt, to see if there are any survivors. Haoran, you enter through the back door and repair the module. We need a defensive field to block the signal. Understood, little boss. The aunt's voice was full of laughter, but also wary. This fortress is said to be haunted. No one dared to touch it after the rebellion. The mecha's claws hooked the shell of the fortress. Ziqing cut a crack and sneaked inside. The corridor was dark, the air was filled with the smell of metal corrosion, and the sound of footsteps echoed in the helmet communication. Lin Haoran's detachment entered from the other side, and the toolbox jingled. Ziqing, the energy pipeline here is still hot. Someone has been here. Recently. Before he finished speaking, the alarm blared. A figure emerged from the shadows, the remnants of the rebellion. 5 or 6 guys wearing tattered expedition uniforms, with fanaticism in their eyes, holding pulse guns and modified mecha remnants. Remnants of the Federation. This fortress belongs to us, the leader shouted, his voice distorted, like a synthesized sound with signal interference. We guard the secret of the energy cannon. The ambush came fiercely, with pulse bombs raining down on them. Ziqing's mecha shield buzzed, blocking the first wave. She instinctively dodged, rolled, and hid in the corner of the corridor. Auntie, block the escape route. Haoran, hold on. For a moment, she thought, are these her own people? How did the rebellion penetrate so deeply? The leader of the rebel party rushed towards him in a half-broken mecha, sparks flying from his arm blades. Ziqing pulled the lever to speed up, locked the upgraded laser cannon, and fired a shot, but the enemy dodged quickly and scraped her outer armor with a backhand claw. Little girl, we have located the E7 beacon a long time ago. You are too late. He laughed wildly, and the remnants behind him opened fire, forcing Ziqing to retreat. Haoran, how are the modules? Ziqing shouted as he stepped aside, his vision blurred by sweat. She directed her aunt's shadow to shoot from the flank, but the communication was jammed again, and the aftermath of suspicion threw the coordination into disarray. Hurry! 3 pipelines are broken, I'm welding, stop them. Lin Haoran gasped in response, sparks reverberating on his end. Ziqing gritted her teeth and decided to believe him, not blind faith, but the kind of tacit understanding that was honed from the battle in the wreckage area. She rushed out of the bunker, and the mecha pounced on the leader like a wolf, using the broken beam of the fortress as a fulcrum, and its mechanical arm smashed the enemy's blade. The laser followed up and hit the joints directly, causing the enemy mecha to kneel down. Now! Ziqing shouted to her aunt, and the Shadow's artillery fire poured out, clearing away the 2 infantrymen. The remaining rebels saw the situation and retreated towards the core room, but Lin Haoran shouted, "The module is online. The energy field is activated, the whole team retreats." The fortress shook, and a blue energy dome rose, like an ancient shield network, blocking the rebels' pursuit. The signal interference weakens instantly and the communication becomes clear again. Ziqing's mecha retreated to the safe area, her chest heaving. She watched Lin Haoran crawl out from the repair point, his face covered with black oil. "Well done, Haoran. Without you, we would have failed in this battle." He grinned, "It's about the team. The equipment of the remnants, the transmitters of the mutiny signal, not alien goods, but black technology within the Federation. The conspiracy is deeper than we thought." The aunt laughed on the channel, "Little boss, your decision saved us. I was doubting Lao Wang just now, but now I see that unity is the best." Ziqing nodded, a steady warmth welling up in her heart. From the confusion of suspicion to this moment, she learned not only to rely on intuition, but also to trust the contribution of her partners. The energy field of the fortress buzzed, illuminating the way forward, but the rebels' shouts still echoed, "The beacon is waiting." The fleet reunited, pointing into deeper darkness. Ziqing clenched the joystick, preparing to pursue. The fortress's energy dome was still humming like a tired guard. Ziqing's mecha slipped out of the crack, blue light reflected on the reflective screen of her helmet. The fleet reunited outside the asteroid ring. As soon as the Iron Shark's supply bay door closed, Lara Wang's gruff voice came through the communication channel, "Little boss, this trip to the fortress is quite good. I dismantled 2 of those rebel launchers, and the chips inside are exactly the same as the old modules of the Federation. It's not an alien trick, it's my brother's." Ziqing switched her perspective and watched the shadows aunt approaching from the flank, while the starlight's scanning beam was still swaying in the wreckage area. Lin Haoran had climbed back into his reconnaissance boat, slinging the toolbox on his shoulder, and gasped, "The coordinates have been updated." Digging out from the rebel data, the E7 beacon points to the Kaiser Star field on the frontier, where there is an old settlement, and there are the most rumors of the afterimages of the lost mechas. But the signal is still annoying, and we must quickly expand the team, otherwise the 4 of us alone will have to drink from the northwest wind if we encounter a tough battle. Expand? How to expand? The Starburst's adjutant interjected, his voice still filled with the anger of the battle just now. "In this hellish borderland, the captains are like hedgehogs. Who wants to hang out with us skirmishers?" Ziqing smiled and controlled the mecha to return to the docking arm of the mothership. The old communication record retrieved from the fortress flashed through her mind, a patrol ship named Thunder, which was said to have disappeared during the mutiny. The captain was an old expeditionary soldier who specialized in retrieving relics in Kaysar. "Haoran, send a broadcast. Use the rebel party's chip as bait, saying that we have beacon clues, and recruit the 5th ship. There are always hungry guys at the transfer station next to Kaiser." As soon as the broadcast was sent out, it didn't take long for the response to come. The captain of the Thunder, a strong man named Uncle Jong, said with a voice as hot as thunder, "I heard that you fought out of the fortress. Okay, I'll join. I have the radar from the old expedition on the ship, which can lock on the energy residue. But the condition is that I will share 30% of the reward. In the days on the frontier, who doesn't plan for themselves?" Lao Wang snorted in the channel, another greedy guy. "Okay, all 5 ships are here. Haoran, your small boat is taking the lead, Iron Shark is supplying, Xinguang and Shadow are scanning, and Lei Ming is rearing. Ziqing, you are the leader, we will follow." Ziqing nodded, feeling a surge of heat in her heart. From the mines of Charon to this 5-ship expedition, she felt like she was weaving a web, imperfect, but getting tighter. The fleet's thrusters blared in unison, sliding out of the asteroid belt and heading towards the deep blackness of the Kaiser star field. On the star map, coordinates flickered like ghosts, and the legend of the lost Mecha spread among the crew like a frontier ballad. "I heard there are alien ruins in the colony at Caesar," Auntie chatted with Ziqing on the private channel, her voice carrying a hint of frontier slang. "I once fished for an energy crystal, which was as bright as a New Year lantern. But when the mutiny signal went off, everything was messed up. Be careful, little boss, that signal looks like fishing to me." During the 2-day voyage, the fleet passed through several electromagnetic storms, with Haoran's reconnaissance boat exploring the way ahead. The Thunder's radar worked as expected, and it picked up several residual energy tracks, pointing directly to the old dock of the colony. The conversation among the crew became lively, and some people joked that the lost Mecha was hidden in the Dragon King Temple, the frontier people's joking name for ancient ruins. Ziqing was testing the Mecha's laser cannon in the cockpit, and Haoran's remote control sent the upgrade data. "The shield has been increased by 20%, but the energy pipeline is hot. Don't spray it 3 times in a row." "I know, do you consider me a novice?" Ziqing replied, a smile echoing in the helmet. But the optimism did not last long, and the signal of rebellion came again. This time it was not noise, but precise guidance. False coordinates popped up on the communication channel, pointing to a meteorite cloud on the edge of the colony. "The beacon is there. The energy peak matches E7. Haoran shouted, and the waveform on the data screen jumped. "Go forward at full speed, but maintain your formation," Ziqing ordered, feeling slightly uneasy. "Why are the signals so cooperative? Like luring a sheep into a tiger's mouth." In the meteorite cloud, the ambush was like a torrential downpour. A dozen renegade-modified boats sprang out from the shadows, mechas rushed like wolves, and pulse fire illuminated the dark scene. The leading enemy ship roared, "Federal dogs! The beacon is our trap, come and die." The first wave of attacks went straight to the Thunder in the rear. Uncle Jong's hull shook violently, the shield shattered, and a large hole opened in the bulkhead. Thunder was shot. "The pressure in the engine area is released." Uncle Jong roared on the channel, "Damn it, whose coordinates are wrong?" "The mole." Suspicion exploded instantly. Lao Wang shouted, "There must be something wrong with the Xinguang scan. You who went on the expedition may still have a traitorous tale." The adjutant countered, "Fart. Iron Shark's black market goods are suspicious." "Lao Wang, isn't the signal transmitter hidden in your patch ship?" The aunt tried to calm down. "Don't argue, Ziqing, retreat or fight?" Ziqing's Mecha has ejected from the mothership, and its laser cannon is targeting the nearest enemy aircraft. She took a deep breath and hit the full frequency. "Shut up. Suspicion is their weapon, let's go." Haoran, analyze the signal, quick. With a flash in her heart, she thought, "We can't let the team split. It's my fault for not guarding against the intelligence early." Lin Haoran responded hastily, "Pattern matching. The signal is not external, it is an internal jump. Someone is retransmitting in our fleet to induce coordinates. Undercover. But now, survive first." His reconnaissance boat dodged the gunfire and shouted while scanning, "Iron Shark and Shadow are outflanking. Starlight covers Thunder. I will repair their engines." A melee breaks out, and Ziqing's Mecha rushes into the enemy group like arrows. The first enemy plane rushed towards her, arcing out from her arm blades. She rolled over intuitively, used the meteorite as a cover, and blasted off the opponent's propeller with a backhand laser. "Protect Thunder," she shouted to her aunt, and the Shadow's gunfire followed up, blowing up a small boat. But there were too many enemy planes, 5 or 6 of them surrounded Xingmang, and the adjutant's ship shook. Ziqing, I can't hold on dash. I'll do it. Ziqing pulled the lever to speed up. The Mecha was gliding in the vacuum, and the shield buzzed to block the pulse bombs. She locked onto the lead enemy aircraft, and the guy's muzzle was aimed at the thundering breach. Haoran, don't break the energy pipeline. Her heart tightened, and she recalled the tacit understanding of the fortress, not to carry it alone, but to rely on others. The enemy plane opened fire. Ziqing rolled to dodge, the mechanical arm hooked on the meteorite, and used the opportunity to eject. The laser cannon exploded at close range, hitting the joints directly. The enemy plane knelt down, and she followed up with a kick and turned around to protect Xingguang. Adjutant, stand back. Old Wang, supply ammunition to Lei Ming. During the conversation, she commanded like a weave, and her tenacity was like the sandstorm of Charon, sharpening her strength. But the price has come. The engine of the thunder finally burst, and Uncle Zhong roared intermittently, Ziqing, my ship, sank. The flames engulfed the tail, and the 5 ships became 4.5, and the fragments scattered in the nebula. The suspicion grew stronger, and Lao Wang roared, whose fault is this? Where did the signal jump from? Haoran sent an analysis during the melee. The source of the jump is the scanning module of Xingmang, but not on purpose. It is an implanted virus, transmitted from the wreckage retrieved from the fortress. We may all be infected. Ziqing, concentrate your firepower to counterattack, and eliminate the virus while fighting. Ziqing gritted her teeth, her mecha shield redlined, and she rushed towards the core of the enemy group to protect her scattered teammates. The laser fired 2 shots in a row, destroying 3 enemy aircraft. Anti-shadow swept from the flanks, and Iron Shark's supply bombs rained down. Hang on, she yelled, sweat soaking her driving suit. The enemy leader's mecha rushed towards her, and the energy blade grazed her armor, causing sparks to fly. Little girl, how much can you protect me? The web of rebellion has been woven long ago. Weaving a web. I'll dismantle it. Ziqing counterattacked, using the terrain, the gravitational well of the meteorite, to smash the enemy's core with a tail flick and a laser choke. The enemy group collapsed, and the remaining boats retreated hastily, leaving debris everywhere. The fleet regrouped for breath, and Lei Ming's surviving crew members moved to Iron Shark. Uncle Zhong's face was covered with gray, and he patted Ching Ching's shoulder armor. Boss, thank you. I almost thought the mole was one of our own. Ziqing returned to the mothership, took off her helmet, and looked at the damage report on the data screen. My heart felt heavy. I should have avoided this ambush. If we had paid attention to intelligence earlier and not just relied on intuition. She turned to Haoran. Is the virus cleared? Next time, we have to have someone special to keep an eye on the intelligence. The shadow of the border is too deep. Haoran nodded and wiped the tools. Yes, I heard that Caesar has a mysterious intelligence agent who specializes in selling clues about rebellion. His name is Yunshi? Her reconnaissance boat is like a ghost, always swaying at the edge of the signal. Maybe we can find her. The blue flames of the fleet were slowly advancing at the edge of the Caesar star field. The supply cabin of the Iron Shark was still busy repairing the surviving parts of Thunder. Uncle Zhong and his crew were crowded in the temporary cabin, smoking low-quality tobacco produced in the frontier and chatting muffledly. Ziqing stood on the observation deck of the mothership, staring through the holographic screen at the flickering wreckage of the settlement ahead. The iron frames of the old shipyard were poking into the starry sky like broken teeth, and the green light of the remaining energy was looming. Haoran climbed out of the engineering room, his hands covered with oil, and shook his tools. The virus is gone, Ziqing. But next time the signal jumps, our formation will be tighter, we can't let suspicion bite our tail. On the channel, the conversation between the crew members was low, and the aunt said, "Little boss, this battle has woken us up. Unity is not easy, but it's worth it if you protect us." Ziqing clenched her fists. The pain of growing up was like stardust, small but solid. The coordinates of the colony are right in front of us, but a new shadow, the suspicion of the undercover agent and the mysterious name, is quietly approaching, and the blue flame of the fleet once again lights up the road ahead. "Well, we have to find that Yunshi." Ziqing turned around, her voice a little tired and firm. The flash of an ambush flashed through her mind, and her decision at that moment made her even more aware that intuition alone was not enough and had to be backed up by intelligence. "Send a directional beacon on the channel you mentioned, Haoran. Intelligence dealers on the frontier always like to listen in the dark." Haoran nodded, tapped the data pad, and the beacon shot out like a thin needle. Within half an hour, a clear female voice came through the communication channel, with a brisk tone of interstellar slang. "I heard that you are fishing for the E7 beacon? Rebels in the fortress, I have heard the rumors. Yunshi is here, location sharing, 5 light seconds outside the transfer station, come to chat." Ziqing raised her brows and switched perspectives. A slender reconnaissance boat slid out from the edge of the meteorite cloud, as flexible as a civet cat, its surface coating reflected starlight, making it almost invisible. "Everyone on alert, but don't fire," she ordered, and the mothership slowly moved closer. Yunshi's boat door popped open, and she jumped out of the hatch. She was wearing a close-fitting reconnaissance uniform, with a bunch of scanners hanging around her waist. Her short hair floated slightly in the low gravity. "Chief Ziqing? I've known you for a long time. There are rumors in the border areas that you came here from the Charon mine and led a group of skirmishers to fish out the lost Mecha. It's amazing." Yunshi's eyes were narrowed, and she smiled like the girl next door, but Ziqing felt that alertness, like a sand fox on the border. "The rumors are overdone. We lost one ship and just crawled out of an ambush. Do you have any clues?" Yunshi jumped onto the connecting arm of the mothership, and Haoran handed over the oxygen mask. She took it and said as she walked, getting straight to the point, "I like it. The E7 beacon is not a single point, but a series of energy networks, emanating from the old ruins of the Caesar colony. But the rebel party is here. There are 3 traps around, fake energy peaks, designed to catch expedition teams like yours. The first one is at the entrance of the dock, and the pulse network is disguised as a residual track. In exchange, you need information, and I need a backer." Lin Haoran snorted beside him and wiped the data chip. "Join? Frontier intelligence agents are like the wind, they leave as soon as they come. How can I trust you?" Yunshi turned her head, with a sharp look in her eyes. "Believe it or not, it depends on your strength. Give me your scan data, and I will prove it to you." She took Haoran's tablet, and with flying fingers, she pulled out the fleet's track map in a few seconds and marked a hidden pulse wave. "Look, this is the second wave of traps, the jump signal behind the meteorite cloud. The rebels used the old Federation module to modify it to match the chips obtained by your fortress. Last time I stepped on the edge of Kaiser, I lost half an auxiliary boat. If I hadn't been more agile, it would have been broken into pieces." Ziqing nodded, and her heart sank. This woman is not simple, and her intuition told her that Yunshi's information was like a key that could open the door to the colony. "Okay, join. But there is a suspicion of a mole. Our rules are full transparency. Haoran, integrate her data." The whole team obeys the order, bypasses the entrance of the dock, and goes straight to the coordinates of the ruins. Lao Wang interrupted in the channel, his voice rough and smiling. "New girl? Information dealer, I have space in Iron Shark's supply cabin, but don't sell our goods. The aunt's shadow followed, and the adjutant's star scan confirmed that there was no difference. Uncle Jong muttered in a low voice, "It's good to have information. I almost fed the wolf in that trap last time." The fleet adjusted its formation, and Yunxi's reconnaissance boat took the lead. As it slid through the pulse net, she shouted briskly, "Turn left 15 degrees, the energy low point, past. We won't bite the traitor's bait." Sure enough, I didn't fall into the trap. Haoran stared at the screen in the engineering room and said excitedly, "Her code tube is working and the signal waveform is stable. Ziqing, now the ruins of the colony are right in front of you. The entrance to the ruins is hidden in the underground layer of the old dock. An alien dome is half buried in the rock formations. The surface is covered with vine-like energy veins, and the blue light pulses like a living creature." The fleet was parked outside. A team of Ziqing, Haoran, and Yunxi ejected, with mechas and reconnaissance boats leading the way. "I heard the old man from the frontier say that it's an alien thing," Yunxi chatted while scanning. "The Guardian machine is very fierce, but it contains lost technology. The source of the beacon is in the core room." Ziqing's mecha stepped on the edge of the dome, laser cannons were on alert, and she had a short inner monologue. "This place is like Charon's mine, but wilder, and I have to borrow her eyes. Yunxi, scan the entrance." Haoran, prepared to crack the door lock. Yunxi's boat sprayed out a probe and replied briskly, "There is a biological lock at the entrance, non-federal code. Wait, this is an ancient energy totem, like the Chinese word dragon pattern, and the frontier people call it the Dragon King's relics. The rebels came and left footprints, but they did not penetrate the core." She swiped her finger and projected the totem interpretation. "I have half a set of decodings, pieced together from the fragments I caught last time. Haoran, your engineering brain, help me fix the loopholes." Haoran came closer, stretched out the tool arm, and said while welding, "This circuit is like an old-fashioned quantum lock, and the energy flows cleverly. Yunxi, where did you get this half set? Is it a leftover from the rebel party?" Yunxi paused and lowered her voice, "Not entirely. 2 years ago, my sister's patrol ship disappeared in Kaiser, and the signal was cut off on the day of the mutiny. I dug for half a year to spell this thing out. It's a little fuzzy, but it's enough." She didn't say much, and her eyes flashed with shadows, but Ziqing caught the pain. It was like a family matter. "Resolved." Haoran shouted. The door lock buzzed open, and a blue crack opened in the dome. The three of them rushed in. The air was filled with the smell of ionization, and ancient runes flashed in relief on the walls. Suddenly, the Guardian machinery woke up, for spider-like metal beasts sprang out from the shadows, their leg blades drew arcs of electricity, locking onto the intruders. "Alert!" Ziqing pulled the lever, the mecha bounced, and the laser cannon fired at the first one. The mechanical beast rushed towards it, as fast as lightning. Ziqing instinctively rolled over, used the pillars of the ruins as a cover, and shot off its forelimbs with a backhand shot. Yunxi, attack their weak points. Haoran, protect the flanks. The battle broke out, and the mechanical pulse claw grazed her shield, causing sparks to fly. She felt her intuition being sharpened, not beating randomly, but reading the terrain, using the energy veins of the dome to glide, and the mecha was like a fish in water. Yunxi's boat hovered at low altitude, and the scanning beam marked, the weak point is in the abdominal node, where energy gathers. The one on the left has a crack in the leg. She dodged and shouted, with a borderline playfulness in her voice, "Ziqing, your mecha dances like a New Year lion dance, cool." Ziqing laughed out loud, and her heart was filled with enthusiasm. With the support of a partner, your intuition will be more accurate. She locked on the mark, accelerated her sprint, hooked the mechanical arm on the top of the pillar, used the momentum to dive. The laser burst out at close range, the abdominal nodes shattered, and the first machine collapsed. Haoran, the second channel is yours. Haoran drove the reconnaissance boat in a circle, threw out the electromagnetic net, and wrapped it around the mechanical leg. It works. But the energy is high, so don't let it get close. He shouted while repairing, and the tool arm fired a welding gun to seal the joints of one machine. Yunshi made a last-ditch attack, injected the virus code into the probe, and the third unit twitched and fell to the ground. Teamwork, frontier style, she shouted, her laughter echoing in the channel. The last machine ran wildly, its claws reaching for Ziqing. She rolled to dodge, reading its trajectory, the resonance on the energy veins. A flash in my mind, borrow some help. She led it to hit the veins of the wall, and the blue light burst out to interfere. The mecha followed, and the laser fired 3 times in a row, shattering the core. The mechanical group came to a standstill, and the ruins returned to tranquility. The 3 of them gasped and moved forward. The door of the core room opened, and a crystal device floated inside, projecting fragments of the lost mecha's blueprint. The arm module, and the energy cannon interface was clear. It's done. Haoran rushed forward, opened the toolbox, and said while dismantling it, "This device is damaged, the energy tube is broken. I will repair it, 10 minutes. Ziqing took off her mask, wiped her sweat and looked at the blueprint, feeling a sense of growth in her heart. From the mind to here, intuition became a weapon. Yunshi, thank you. This blueprint will help us lock the beacon. Yunshi leaned against the wall with complicated eyes, and finally said, "You're welcome. But I have a secret. On the day of the mutiny, my sister's ship received a false signal, pointing to Caesar. It was not an alien, but someone from within the Federation. Someone betrayed us. It's vague, but I guess there is a big fish behind the beacon. Join you, I want to dig out it." Haoran raised his head and nodded. "I understand. It's fixed and the blueprint is stable. Ziqing, the energy cannon interface matches the E7, and the beacon position is accurate, deep in the ruins, the next wave of energy peaks." Ziqing clenched her fists and turned to the exit. Lara Wang's voice sounded in the channel, "The team is back? Are the relics in stock? We are watching outside, and the shadow of the rebel party is shaking again." The lights of the fleet flickered outside, and the light of the blueprint reflected on the faces of the 3 people. The tacit understanding of the new members condensed like stardust. Although the road ahead was dangerous, the network of intelligence was getting tighter and tighter. The mecha and reconnaissance boat of Ziqing's 3-person team had just ejected from the entrance to the ruins. The projection of the blueprint crystal was still flashing on Haoran's data board, and the lights of the fleet greeted them like sparks. Lara Wang's iron shark roared in the channel, "The team is back? Are the ruins in stock?" We were watching outside, and the shadow of the rebel party swayed again. The green light just now was like the preheating of the energy cannon. Ziqing switched her perspective. On the mothership's scanning screen, a twisted signal cloud was pouring out from the depths of the colony, spreading like ink, swallowing up the track map. "The whole team is on alert, keep distance. Haoran, upload the blueprint data. Yunshi, analyze the green light." She slid the mecha into the recovery bay of the mothership, and her heart tightened. The rebels were moving too fast, and they had to stabilize their formation. As soon as the recovery hatch door closed, the communication channel exploded. Adjutant Xingmang's voice sounded first, with a sharp border accent, "Boss, that green light is the same as the coating of Yunshi's boat." As soon as she joined, The signal was upgraded. What did you catch in the ruins? She couldn't be an undercover, right? Lao Wang followed and hummed. I also find it strange. The new girl's information works, but this interference wave is like a fire stirred by an insider. Iron Shark's shield just shook, and the guys in the supply cabin panicked. Yunshi jumped out of her reconnaissance boat. The brisk energy on her face faded a bit. She took off her mask and put her short hair on her forehead. Hey, don't bite people. My coating is standard invisible paint, made from the frontier. The signal upgrade is the rebels' counterattack. They know we have the blueprint. She turned to Ziqing, with a hint of guardedness in her eyes. Boss, what do you think? I have proven my strength, and now the whole team is pointing at me and scolding me? Ziqing stood in the center of the observation deck, and the holographic screen projected the fleet's chaotic track. Anti-Shadow's cargo ship was zooming away from the flank, Uncle Jong's Thunder's engine was still wheezing, and the Starlight's scanning beam was shaking randomly. She took a deep breath and tapped the communication button, her voice as steady as a rock. Listen, the whole team should be quiet. This is not the time for internal fighting. Yunshi's intelligence opened the door to the ruins, and we got the blueprint, which is proof. Adjutant, I understand your suspicion. The last ambush bit them hard, but now they are biting their own people, and the rebels are very happy. Lara Wang, Iron Shark's shield is holding up. Uncle Jong, Lei Ming follow Auntie's flanks, upgrade the defense, use the energy interface of the blueprint to weave an anti-interference net. Lin Haoran rushed out of the engineering room, still holding the crystal interface cable in his hand, with a greasy face. Adjutant, Lara Wang, don't rush to fire. Yunshi's code just saved us. I have verified the signal waveform, it is not an internal source. But the interference has upgraded, like a comprehensive network, the energy peaks are superimposed and lock our channel. Ziqing, you have to adjust the frequency, otherwise the formation will break up. The channel was silent for a few seconds, and Adjutant Xingmang muttered, the boss is right, my brain is getting hot. But that green light? Lao Wang laughed loudly. Okay, it works, little boss. The smoke in the supply cabin has been extinguished. I listened to you. Sister Yunshi, prove yourself, get us some real goods. Yunshi clicked. Boss, with a trace of frontier-style playfulness on his lips. Okay, I like straight shots. Boss, the source of the signal is in the nebula on the edge of the black hole, that ghost fog. The rebels have hidden the energy cannon position, and the interface for matching the blueprint is there. But close reconnaissance is high risk, and the gravity of the black hole will drag the boat. Ziqing held the data pad tightly, and a brief flash occurred in her heart. Mediation is not persuasion, but action. You have to lead them over. The whole team adjusts its course to the nebula at the edge of the black hole, 5 light minutes deep. Yunshi leads the reconnaissance, Haoran escorts, and I advance alone. Auntie, you and Uncle Jong will flank the flanks, and Lao Wang will rear for supplies. If anyone doubts you again, I will personally pull you off the boat. Her words cut through the chaos like a laser, the fleet's engines roared, and the blue flames relit, sliding towards the ghostly mist that swallowed the starlight. The entrance to the nebula is like the mouth of a giant beast, the fog distorts the light, the gravity well at the edge of the black hole pulls at the debris, and the energy residue floats like ghosts. Ziqing's mecha popped out first, the laser cannon warmed up, and the green light pulsated on the scanning screen intensified. Yunshi, release the probe. Haoran, what's the progress of the defense network upgrade? Haoran replied in the mothership engineering room, with an excited breath in his voice, 70%. The interface of the blueprint works. I welded the quantum filter to bounce the interference wave, the rebel signal is now like an echo wall, and I can hear their internal frequency. Listen, E7 is locked, the lost module is activated, they are tapping the energy source of the beacon. Yunshi's reconnaissance boat shuttled nimbly through the fog, like a sand fox burrowing through a hole. She shouted while scanning, "Boss, the encryption layer is thick, but I have the key." "Wait a minute, this code is an old federal file, mixed with alien runes. It is being cracked. It's done. The rebellion is not just a mole, it's the work of lost technology. 2 years ago, the day my sister's ship disappeared, the signal pointed to this nebula. Someone used E7's energy network to sell the Federation, and the rebel leader was a former engineering general who stole the Mecha's gun interface and built a black hole turret. That's my secret. I joined not just for intelligence, but for revenge." The channel gasped, and Lao Wang roared, "Sister, you told me earlier. My Iron Shark's gun barrel is enough, give me the coordinates," and hit the general. Xingmang adjutant followed up, "Share the cracked data." My skin confirmed, the gun. The station is hidden in the center of the fog, guarded by 3 energy rings. "Boss, do you want to rush?" Ziqing felt that the team's tacit understanding was as solid as a shield, and the passion of the leader surged in her heart. "From the lone wolf in the mine to the leader here, I have to protect them." "Charge!" Yunshi marks the ring position, and the Haoran net is fully opened. "I will raid the inner ring alone to resolve this ghost mist." The Mecha jet propelled, Ziqing pulled the lever and dived. The gravity on the edge of the black hole was like an invisible hand tugging. She used the airflow of the mist to slide sideways. The laser cannon locked on the first energy ring. The rebels' unmanned sentry boat sprang out, pulse bombs like raindrops. "Coming," she shouted, and the Mecha rolled and dodged, reading the terrain. The density of the fog was like Charon's mineral dust, and it had to use a gravity well to dodge. With a flash of intuition, she hooked a fragment of the wreckage and used the momentum to spin. The muzzle exploded at close range, shattering the core of the picket boat. The fragments scattered like fireworks. "The boss is so cool." Yunshi's boat hit the target from the flank, the probe injected the virus code, and the energy peak of the second ring trembled. The rebel channel is in chaos, and they are also suspicious internally. The general's deputy is shouting, "A beacon exposed." Haoran's defense net was activated, and the blue light net covered the fleet like a fishing net, bouncing interference waves back to the turret, and the mothership's shield was stabilized. "Ziqing, the weak point of the inner ring is at the black hole's horizon, and the energy is unstable. Use the blueprint interface to overload it." The rebel fort emerged. A giant ring-shaped fortress surrounded the black hole, and the green light muzzle was charged, pointing directly at the expedition team. Ziqing rushed in alone, and the Mecha's shield creaked under the pull of gravity. She locked the weak point and had a brief inner monologue. "The team trusts me, and I trust my intuition. Team cover!" She roared, boosting the energy. The blueprint interface heated up, the laser cannon merged with the residual pulse, and fired a blue arc that leveraged overload, directly hitting the center of the ring. The explosion was like a starburst, and the first ring of the fort shattered. A swarm of rebel drones rushed towards it. Ziqing danced in the fog, gliding with the tidal force of the black hole, and fired continuously, shooting down 3 of them. "Adjutant, clear the flanks." Starlight's firepower kept up. Anti-Shadow's cargo ship threw out electromagnetic bombs, Uncle Zhong's thunder locked on the remaining enemies, and Lao Wang's Iron Shark roared in behind to supply the beam. Yunshi circled and shouted, "Boss, the second ring is open, the beacon is inside, the energy cannon prototype." The climax of the conflict broke out in the center of the fog. The rebel deputy general's channel came out with a distorted voice, "Stop. You don't know the price of lost technology, the general's plan, the Federation will be reborn." Ziqing sneered, the Mecha dived, and resolved the last link. Rebirth? I don't care about selling sisters. She was overloaded at close range, the blue arc penetrated, the turret collapsed, and the red light of the beacon emerged from the wreckage, shining like a dragon's eye. The fleets converged, the fog dispersed, and tranquility returned to the edge of the black hole. Haoran was excited in the channel. The defense network has held up, and the beacon coordinates are accurate. The cannon interfaces of the lost Mecha are all here. Yunshi's voice returned briskly, with relief. Boss, thank you. I count you as half of my revenge. The team will not guess anymore, and we will continue to dig. Lao Wang laughed. Sister, I will give you one of Iron Shark's cigarettes. Ziqing, I accept this wave. Ziqing drove the Mecha back to the mothership. The team's tracks on the scanning screen were as close as one, and her inner growth was as bright as a star. From mediating suspicion to leading them through the fog, she was no longer a novice, but a leader. The red light of the beacon reflected in the cabin window. Deep in the road ahead, the shadow of the rebels was still there, but the blue flame of the expedition was brighter. Suddenly, Yunshi's boat approached, and she chatted privately on the channel. Boss, there will be big fish in the next wave of energy peaks. Are you ready? Ziqing's Mecha was still sliding into the recovery cabin, and as soon as the door was closed, she heard Yunshi's private chat channel briskly ringing. The voice was like a playful joke in a frontier tavern. Boss, there will be big fish in the next wave of energy peaks. Are you ready? The projection of the red light beacon pulsed on the data board. Ziqing took off her helmet, beads of sweat falling from her forehead. She glanced at Lin Haoran next to him. He was busy welding the joints, and his oily fingers were as nimble as weaving a web. Big fish? Tell me, Yunshi. Have the beacon coordinates been determined? Ziqing tapped the response button, her voice filled with the residual heat of having just escaped from the heart of the fog. The team's tacit understanding made her feel a little more stable. From the novice to the leader, the suspicions along the way disappeared. Now she has to keep an eye on the road ahead. Yunshi's boat hovered outside the mothership, and the scanning beam swept across the wreckage like a fox's tail. She replied, "It's settled. The blueprint matches. The beacon is hidden in the residual ring belt behind the ghost fog, 2 light minutes away from the black hole's event horizon. The energy peaks are superimposed, like the breath of the artillery array. The rebel main fleet is ambushing there, and my probe picked up their track. The source of the green light is the heat shadow of the E-7 prototype cannon. Boss, I suggest gathering the entire team. It is too risky to attack alone, and the gravity of the black hole will break up the formation." Lin Haoran raised his head, wiped his face, and inserted into the channel in a rough voice, "Yunshi is right. Ziqing, I have upgraded the blueprint interface by 70% and can weave energy nets for escort, but the mothership's engine is out of breath and needs to be repaired. The beacon coordinates are uploaded. The coordinates are N47.2, Z-axis offset 0.8, accurate to the meter level. The rebels' turret's weak point is at the energy gathering point." His fingers flew, the data stream poured out like the Milky Way, the star map on the holographic screen lit up, and the red dots flickered like dragon's eyes. Ziqing nodded and thought, the positioning has been decided, now is the time to make the layout. I learned from the fog war that we have to use the strength of the team. She switched to the public frequency, and the whole team's voices came like a tide. Lao Wang's rough laugh sounded first. "Little boss, the fog is so refreshing, and the Iron Shark's barrel is still hot. Beacon? My supply cabin is fully loaded, ready to blast at any time." The whole team is listening. Ziqing's voice was as steady as the bridge's alarm bell. Yunshi's intelligence locked the beacon, coordinates N47.2, Z.8. We assembled the expedition force, the mothership took the lead, Auntie Yueying and Uncle Zhong take the flanks, and Lieutenant Xingmang will scan the front. I, Haoran, and Yunxi will take the lead, adjusting the course and advancing deeply to avoid the black hole tidal zone. I will personally pull back. Growls and laughter erupted in the channel, and Starlight Adjutant's borderland accent was thick. Boss, my skin confirmed that there are no signs of an ambush. But the energy peak has risen, like a pack of wolves panting. The main force of the rebels is here, and the fleet is not small. Aunt Shadow's voice said. Follow up, with an aunt-like warmth, Shao Qing, the electromagnetic bombs of the cargo ship are ready, and the flanks will stabilize you. Uncle Zhong, keep up with the thunderous locks, don't pant. Uncle Zhong's strong man's voice roared. Boss, the engine is repaired, I will lock on any green light. The engine roared, and the expedition fleet slid out of the ghost mist like a long blue flame, and the fragments of the residual ring passed through the cabin window like raindrops. Ziqing piloted the mecha and ejected from the mothership. The laser cannon was preheated. She pulled the lever and slid sideways, using the track of the remaining ring to stabilize the formation. Yunxi, spread out the probes. Haoran, fully open the defense network. Maintain 3-point linkage. I'm going forward, you protect my wings. Understood, boss. Yunxi's boat came out like a shadow, and the invisible coating allowed her to melt into the stardust. She swept and shouted, 3 points of light ahead, the energy peak is off the charts. The rebel main fleet, 5 heavy cruisers, the green cannon array is locked, their trajectory is the Federal mark smells like a mole. Lin Haoran responded in the mothership engineering room, his voice mixed with excitement. The net is woven. The quantum filter reflects their interference. Ziqing, your mecha interface is hot-linked, energy sharing, double the shield. Suddenly, the red alert on the scanning screen went off, and the rebel fleet sprang out from the depths of the residual ring, like a pack of black shadow wolves. The green light muzzle accumulated energy, and the pulse bombs poured down like a torrential rain. The first wave directly hit the side of the mothership. Block! Ziqing roared, and the mecha rolled to dodge. She used the gravity well on the edge of the black hole to flick its tail, and the laser cannon locked onto the engine port of the leading heavy cruiser. The whole team spreads out, flanking. Yunxi, mark the ambush point. Haoran, repair any damage. I will lead the breakout. The flames of the explosion illuminated the starry sky, and the rebel heavy cruiser sprayed a green arc, hitting Anti-Shadow's cargo ship, and the electromagnetic magazine exploded. The aunt's voice rushed on the channel. Shao Qing, the flanks are leaking, the engine is shaking, but I withstand it, throw the bomb to cover. Uncle Zhong's thunder followed, the energy trajectory was locked on a cruiser, and the gunfire roared. Boss, I'm clear here, the green cannon's weak point is the heat dissipation port. Lao Wang roared from behind, open the Iron Shark shield, fire the supply beam. Adjutant, don't charge hard, I have enough ammunition tubes. Ziqing's mecha danced in the hail of bullets, her intuition as sharp as a veteran in the mines. She increased the energy, the blueprint interface heated up, and fired a blue arc that merged with pulses and penetrated the shield of the lead cruiser. Haoran, the mecha's shield is cracked, urgent repair. Lin Haoran's hands were like lightning, welding wires in the engineering room, and the remote interface was activated, transmitting. Use the broken ring fragments to borrow strength. Ziqing, the interface is overloaded, block the next wave. His voice was pragmatic, and the tacit understanding of her partners made Ziqing feel that the mecha was like an extended limb. She hooked a piece of ring debris, rotated and threw it, knocking away 2 pulse bombs. Yunxi's boat flexibly moved through the fog and dust. She injected the probe virus and shouted, Boss, avoid the ambush on the left wing, the rebels have an invisible sentry net. I cracked it, 3 o'clock direction. Her briskness contained the fire of revenge. The boat slid sideways and hit the muzzle of a cruiser, and the green light went out. Their channel is leaked, and the general's deputy is shouting, the high-level plans cannot be exposed, the lost technology is ours. The Federal Admiral stole the E-7 blueprint, built this artillery array to monopolize the beacon, and sold the border to the alien remnants. Boss, this conspiracy is deep. The internal high-level officials want to monopolize it, and my sister's ship is the bait. The channel exploded, and Lao Wang cursed harshly, what a stupid general, I have long suspected the Federation's oil and water. Ziqing, bomb them. Adjutant Xingmang's skin confirmed, the data matches, the E-7 prototype is the private property of the top management, the boss, the strategic layout, to outflank their rear engine group. Ziqing listened, and her heart suddenly changed. From a single machine to a layout, you have to use the perspective of a team. She tapped on the channel, her voice like a laser cutting through the fog. Listen to Yunshi. Yunshi marks the left wing, and Haoran's net covers the rear. I break into the middle and overload their artillery cores. Press the flanks, and the rear is full of firepower, don't let go, bite the formation. Ziqing sneered, her heart tempering like a gun barrel forging fire. The conspiracy was revealed, and the plan had to backfire. She swooped down the middle and locked on the gathering point of the artillery array. All teams, gather fire here. The blueprint interface exploded, integrating the team's energy network, and a huge arc penetrated. The green light array of the rebel main fleet collapsed, and the first heavy cruiser exploded into a fireball. Haoran responded excitedly, it's repaired, Ziqing, your layout works, the net bounces off their waves, the beacon coordinates are clearer. Yunshi's boat got closer, and she hit the enemy with last-ditch blows. Boss, the left wing is clear, the tail of the big fish is exposed, the general's flagship is behind, and the energy cannon is preheating. The war was like a galactic storm. Ziqing led the breakout. The Mecha used gravity to glide and fired with blue arcs, shattering the core of a cruiser. Lin Haoran's repair beam was replenished in time, her shield regenerated, and he shouted, Ziqing, the interface is stable, the energy peak is borrowed, the overloaded green cannon. Yunshi avoided the ambush, and the probe pierced the rebel network like a needle. The deputy's roar in the channel became more chaotic. Stop. The general's exclusive plan, the Federation will be destroyed, the energy cannon of the beacon can reshape the border, but we have to hold it. The firepower on the flanks was like a wave. Uncle Zhong locked one ship, Anti-Shadow dropped a bomb to seal the road, Lao Wang's Iron Shark roared behind the palace, and Adjutant Xingmang scanned and guided. Ziqing's mecha stabilized in the rain of bullets, and her strategy unfolded like a chess game. She shouted, come on, don't let them breathe. Yunshi, explore the weakness of the flagship. Haoran, prepare for the second wave of repairs. The rebels' blockade shattered, the remaining ships fled, the remaining ring at the edge of the black hole was filled with smoke, and the beacon's red light became brighter, pointing faintly into the deep space. But the battle was not over yet, and the green cannon of the flagship was charging like a giant roaring. Yunshi shouted urgently, Boss, it's locked on the mothership, the ambush is still there, I'll get behind it. Ziqing pulled the lever to turn, the team's tacit understanding was like a shield, and the leader's tenacity surged in her heart. The layout has been learned, now is the rhythm of the decisive battle. Ziqing's mecha turned sharply in the stardust, and the blueprint interface was still buzzing. She caught a glimpse of the green cannon muzzle of the flagship like a poisonous snake spitting messages, and the energy arc locked on the mothership was gaining momentum. Yunshi, go back and bite its tail. Haoran, net-covered mothership, don't let the green light get close. Her voice crackled like a whip in the channel, and the team's response was as tight as an iron chain. "Boss, our boat's stealth mode is on, and the probe has been pierced. There is a vulnerability in the flagship engine group, and my virus code has entered." Yunxi's boat scurried into the depths of the residual ring like a ghost, and her brisk teasing was mixed with rapid breathing. "The green gun is warmed up to 70%, I will delay it for 2 minutes, and you will attack the middle." Lin Haoran shouted in the engineering room, sparks flying from the welding gun in his hand. "The net is tight, the quantum filter bounces their waves." Ziqing, Mecha energy sharing, shield blessing, Lao Wang, "The rear of the palace withstands the fire, don't let them breathe." The mothership's defense net unfolded like silver wire, bouncing off a wave of green arc pulses. Lao Wang's iron shark followed with a low roar, its gun barrels spitting fire. "Boss, my supply bombs are raining down, shattering their shields." "Uncle Zhong, bite me on the flanks." The engine of Uncle Zhong's thunder roared, and the energy trajectory locked on the flank of the flagship. "Understood." "Boss, I know this green cannon sentry, Anti-Shadow, is blocking the road with electromagnetic bombs." Anti-Shadow's cargo ship slid sideways and threw a string of electromagnetic bombs that exploded like firecrackers, blocking the rebel party's detour. "Lu, Shaoqing, hold your flanks steady, use my wreckage net to help. Don't let the black hole tide tear the formation apart." Adjutant Starlight's scanning beam swept across, and the borderland accent was thick. "Boss, the way back to the flagship is clear. Yunxi's virus has taken effect. The green cannon is overloaded, bursting." The remnants of the rebel ships scattered in all directions. The expedition fleet advanced like a long dragon of blue flames. The fragments of the remnant ring gradually became thinner, and the pulse of the red light beacon became closer and closer. Yunxi's boat took the lead and sprang out, scanning beams flashing like foxfire. "Boss, the beacon ruins are ahead, 1 light minute." "The energy peak is stable, but the wreckage is scattered. It looks like a cemetery of lost mechas, and the E7 prototype is traced." Lin Hao. After uploading the data, the star map on the holographic screen lit up, and the red dots were like heartbeats. The coordinates are accurate, and the z-axis offset is confirmed by 0.8. Ziqing, the mothership is slowing down, and the engineering team is preparing to recover, but the energy residue is high, and the rebels may have a backup plan. Ziqing pulled the lever and dived. The mecha drifted on the track of the broken ring fragments. The laser cannon locked on the flagship's gathering point. A blue arc merged with the team's energy and penetrated the gap in the shield. The exploding fireball illuminated the edge of the black hole, the flagship engine spewed black smoke, and the green light dimmed. All the team, chase the remnant enemy. Yunxi, mark the way. Haoran, lock the course of the mothership to N47.2. Her decision was like a chess piece falling on the board. From the intuition of the fog war to the current layout, she felt that the team was one, and a brief flash occurred in her heart. The leader is not at the front, but has to protect the back path. The mothership's engine hummed, and the fleet slowly sailed into the core of the ruins. A twisted strip of metal debris emerged like an ancient battlefield. Ziqing's mecha ejected first, the scanner buzzed, and her heartbeat kept up with the rhythm of the red light. The whole team is on alert, scanning the wreckage. Yunxi, launch the probe. Haoran, open the recovery cabin. Suddenly, the red alert on the scanning screen blared. An invisible sentry net emerged from the depths of the wreckage. The rebel reinforcement fleet was surrounded like a pack of wolves, and 5 medium-sized patrol ships charged up their green cannons, locking onto the entire site. "Damn, ambush! They've been waiting for you!" Ziqing cursed, and the mecha rolled to dodge the first wave of pulses. The channel exploded, and Lao Wang roared, "Boss, I'm in front of the Iron Shark, with full supply firepower. These bitches, the federal flag is still hanging." Uncle Zhong's thunder followed, and the artillery roared, flanking, Boss, I'm locking their engines. Anti-Ying threw a bomb to cover, shouting, the electromagnetic net of the cargo ship is deployed to protect the recovery point. Adjutant Xingmang scanned quickly. The scale of the rebel party has expanded, more than 10 ships, the beacon core is wrecked in the center, the fragments of the lost mecha have been confirmed, and the energy core is still pulsing. Ziqing's mecha stabilized in the rain of bullets. She switched to the temporary driving mode, overloaded the shield on the blueprint interface, and thought in her mind, defense is the priority, and Haoran must be bought time. Haoran, lead the engineering team to rush to the recovery cabin. Yunshi, crack the beacon, I and the flanks will block them. Lin Haoran responded, the mothership recovery cabin clicked, and he led the team to rush out like a swarm, extending the welding arm. Understood, boss. The mecha wreckage is locked, and the core module is 50% damaged. I repair the energy line, give me 3 minutes. His voice was pragmatic, and the trust of his partners made him faster. Yunshi's boat approached the center of the beacon ruins, and a giant piece of debris emerged. The body of the lost mecha was like a sleeping giant, with red light pulsing from the cracks. She injected the probe, and the virus code pierced the data layer like a needle. Boss, the beacon is activated. The data flow is overwhelming, the recovery code of the E7 energy cannon is inside, and the blueprint matches. The code is Galaxy Watch, an old federal file. But the encryption layer is thick, and I am cracking it. The green cannon of the rebel party is approaching, protect me. Her boat slid sideways to dodge a pulse, and there was tension hidden in the briskness. Ziqing drove a temporary mecha forward, took advantage of the track of the ruins to drift, and fired a laser cannon to shatter the muzzle of a patrol ship. Press the flanks, Lao Wang's rear firepower, Uncle Zhong targets the weak points. Starlight, guide the formation, don't let them get close to the recovery point. Her command was like battlefield drums, and the team responded like a flood. Lao Wang's iron shark breathed fire, the head son, my ammunition is like New Year firecrackers, boom. Uncle Zhong roared, lock the 3 ships, and the green cannon vents explode. Adjutant Xingmang confirmed, the formation is stable, boss, your layout is working, the rebel flank is leaked. Green cannon pulses poured down like a torrential rain, and Ziqing's mecha shield crackled. She hooked on a piece of debris and spun, knocking 2 projectiles away. Her heart was tempered. From a marginal novice to crisis decision-making, she had to use her intuition to weave a web to protect the team. Flames were rising around the recovery cabin. Lin Haoran's team had attached themselves to the remains of the mecha, and welding sparks flickered in the vacuum. Ziqing, the core line is connected to 40%. The energy module is thermally connected, and the blueprint interface is responding, but the interference wave from the rebel party is strong. Haoran needs a net cover. He gasped and shouted. The engineering arm was like a spider spinning a web. Yunshi's cracking progress jumped, and her voice in the channel suddenly changed tone, breaking into a low tone. Boss, the code has been unlocked, and the energy cannon has restored its sequence performance, but there are traces of my sister's ship in the data. On the night of the mutiny, the general's deputy personally blew up her reconnaissance boat, and I hid and escaped. My sister's her last words were, keep the blueprint, don't let them monopolize it. I originally wanted to take revenge, but I only believed in the team after joining you. Her boat trembled for a moment, the probe injected the last virus, and the beacon glowed brightly. The code is being transmitted. Boss, I am not a mole, but a victim. Now, it's all for you. Ziqing listened, and the trust in her heart was strengthened like a shield. From suspicion to unity, she shouted, Yunshi, welcome home. Team, increase defense. Haoran, speed up repairs. My temporary mecha is overloaded to protect the road ahead. She made a decisive decision. The mecha fired a blue arc. propelling the approaching patrol ship. The remains of the lost Mecha in the center of the ruins let out a low whistle, the outline of the energy cannon appeared faintly, and the red light pulsed like the fire of hope. The rebel party's encirclement tightened, and the green cannon charged more fiercely, but the team's tacit understanding was like a galaxy. Ziqing's lever slipped sideways, and a turning point surged in her heart. The Mecha was in sight, and she had to grit her teeth to hold on to this moment. Sparks flew from Lin Haoran's team, 70%. The energy cannon module is hot connected, and the code injection is successful. Ziqing, the wreckage is moving, and the recovery cabin is engaged. Yunxi's boat hit an enemy ship. Boss, the left wing is clear. My virus code paralyzed their sentinel network. Lao Wang's firepower was like thunder behind him. Shoot the supply beam. Don't even think about getting close. Ziqing's laser cannon locked onto the leading cruiser, and the blueprint interface shared the team's energy. A huge arc ran through it. Come on, don't break up the formation. The hope of the Mecha is right in front of you. The flames of war illuminated the wreckage, and the body of the lost Mecha slowly awakened. The threat of the green cannon was still shrouded like a shadow, but the team's trust was like an energy network, weaving the rhythm of the counterattack. The channel was silent for a moment, and then Lao Wang burst out with a rough laugh. Girl, I have seen fire in your eyes. Boss, trust her, my iron shark will protect you. Uncle Zhong boldly followed up. Yunxi, I trust you, I will target more green cannons. Aunt Yingying said warmly, Xiaoxi, I understand the pain. Flank top live, we are a family. Adjutant Xingmang confirmed. The data matches, there is no trace of betrayal, the team is stronger. Lin Haoran fired the gun and shouted excitedly, Yunxi, thank you. The core has been restored to 60%, your password activates the energy flow. Ziqing, the Mecha wreckage responds, and the shell begins to heal itself. The snapping sound of the recovery cabin echoed like muffled thunder in the vacuum. Lin Haoran's engineering team dropped the last welding torch, and sparks bloomed like fireworks. The body of the lost Mecha trembled and came to life, the red light pulse turned into a steady blue glow, and the outline of the energy cannon fully emerged, like a giant beast that had been sleeping for thousands of years opening its eyes. Ziqing's temporary Mecha still pulled out a blue arc at the edge of the shield, propelling the last approaching patrol ship. She gasped and switched channels. Haoran, the repair is complete. Has this guy responded? Boss, 100%. The E7 prototype is fully connected, and the blueprint interface matches perfectly. The energy cannon is charging, and the test drive hatch is open. Lin Haoran's voice was full of excitement, like a frontier craftsman knocking out his first good sword. He patted the alloy leg of the Mecha. Ziqing, come on, this legendary Mecha is waiting for you. I have optimized the energy system and added quantum filter blessing. Don't worry about overload. Ziqing pulled the lever and dived, and the joint of the temporary Mecha detached. She ejected out of the cockpit and slid into the E7's chest like an eel in zero gravity. The hatch snapped, the blueprint chip was embedded in the main control, and the Mecha's systems flooded into her nerves. The energy flow surged like a galaxy, her intuition amplified tenfold, and the shields were layered on top of each other. She gripped the joystick tightly, and a brief flash occurred in her heart. From being a newbie on the edge to this moment, she had to use her will to awaken its soul. Listen, team, I've taken over the E7. Testing performance, laser assist on, energy cannon preheating. Ziqing's voice rang on the channel, the E7's engine roared, and blue flames spurted out. It jumped out of the recovery cabin like an eagle, flicked along the track of the ruins, and swept a test beam, instantly melting a floating meteorite. The Mecha's feedback was like heartbeat synchronization, and she felt power pouring into her limbs. Haoran, this system is too powerful. Energy sharing is fully activated, Protect the flanks, Yunshi. Scan the surrounding area. Where are the movements of the rebels? The channel exploded, and Lao Wang roared like thunder. You are right. My Iron Shark's supply beam targets the weak point. Boss, I will bite the tail behind you and don't let these rebellious dogs breathe. Uncle Jong's Thunderbolt engine roared to keep up. Boss, I'm coming from the flanks. I've been eyeing the green cannon's cooling vent for a long time. E7's energy sharing, my trajectory the locking is more accurate. These bastards dare to betray the country by displaying the federal flag. I will not let you go. Anti-Shadow's cargo ship slid sideways, and the electromagnetic bombs fired like firecrackers. Ziqing, my net shield protects the E7, the flanks are stable. The whole story of the rebellion? It sounds like the old palace fights. The mole wants to be the emperor, and my electromagnetic bombs block their way. Yunshi's reconnaissance boat circled like a fox, and the probe beam flashed. Boss, all the beacon data of E7 have been unlocked. But bad news, the rebel commander's flagship group came out from the back of N-47.2, 20 heavy cruisers, and the green cannons were fully charged. Their weak point is the communication node of the main ship. I have marked the virus code. By paralyzing its center, they can disrupt their wolf pack formation. The Xingmang adjutant's scanning beam swept rapidly, and he spoke with a thick border accent. Boss, the size of the enemy force has been confirmed. The flagship commander is the deputy of the old general. The data matches Yunshi's intelligence. The source of the mutiny signal is in their core database. It aims to paralyze the federal border fleet and monopolize the lost technology to build a private army. The formation is pressing. Your E7 is taking the lead. I will direct the firepower. The renegade flagship group was like a black cloud, and the green cannon pulse was like a torrential rain, locking on the core of the ruins. The commander's voice burst out from the interference wave, twisted like a ghost crying, Federation lackeys, the E7 is ours. Hand over the blueprint, otherwise the green cannons will wipe out the ground, the galaxy will be reshaped by us. His heavy patrol led the charge, with layers of shields and flanking wolves. Ziqing's E7 rolled to dodge, and the Mecha's intuition pulled out the afterimage as if it was predicted. She cursed. What a beautiful idea. Team, the counterattack begins. Haoran, the energy system is optimized, pushing the E7 to the limit. Yunshi, launching the virus code, paralyzing their nodes. Lao Wang, Uncle Zhong, open the gap on the flanks. Aunt Shadow, Xingmang, protect the middle road. Her command sounded like a war drum. The E7 laser cannon fired continuously. The fusion team shared energy. A blue arc penetrated the shield of a heavy cruiser, and the explosive fireball illuminated the edge of the black hole. Lin Haoran was busy working on the mothership, and the data screen was jumping. Boss, the energy system is being optimized. The quantum filter is upgraded, and the heat dissipation of the E7's barrel is doubled. Share it with the flanks. Don't let the green light get close. The far end of my engineering arm is locked. Prepare your overload point. His voice was as pragmatic as a hammer, and the trust of the team made him move faster. The mothership's grill unfolded, bouncing a wave of pulses. Yunshi's boat rushed into the enemy's formation, turning on the stealth mode, and the probe pierced the flagship communication node like a needle. Boss, the virus code is in. Their weaknesses are exposed. The main ship's engine group is overheated, and the green cannon will self-destruct if it fires continuously. The flanking wolves, the shield synchronization rate is low. I marked 3 breakpoints, and they will fall apart if I hit them. She joked lightly. Commander, that old fox, I will avenge you today. Boss, your E7 bites the tail of the flagship. I will finish it. Ziqing pulled the lever to dive, and E7 took advantage of the tidal wave of debris from the ruins to guide her to the breakpoint marked by Yunshi. The mechas were merged into one, and the energy cannon buzzed in preheating. She felt that from the fog of the edge planet to the current peak, the growth was as natural as the mecha's awakening. Roger. Lao Wang, the supply bombs are raining down on their engines. Uncle Zhong, the thunder is blasting the cooling vents. The E-7's muzzle boomed, the blueprint interface overloaded, and a shot of shared energy penetrated, shattering the two Wolfpack patrol ships, and the wreckage scattered like fireworks. Lao Wang's Iron Shark roared forward, and its supply beam was like New Year's fireworks. Boss, my ammunition is fully fired, and the engines explode. These traitorous dogs, my Iron Shark bites off the legs. There were continuous explosions, and the green cannon dimmed several ships. Zhong Shu's strong voice roared, locked. The heat dissipation vents are exploded. Boss, your layout is amazing, the flanks are gapped, and E-7 and I are pressing. The thunder's trajectory was like an arrow, tearing apart a corner of the enemy's formation. Aunt Yueying threw out the electromagnetic net to block the detour, shouting, I'm protecting the middle road, the green light bullets are flying, the rebellion conspiracy has been exposed. They want to use the lost technology to build a new empire and swallow up all the border mineral deposits. The whole family holds on. Xingmang adjutant guided the formation. Boss, the firepower is concentrated, the flagship node is paralyzed, Yunshi's code is used, the rebel party is in chaos. The commander's flagship engine spewed black smoke, and the green cannon fired continuously. He roared the interference wave, impossible. The blueprint of E-7 is mine. The Federation is rotten, we want to be reborn. But the database was leaked, and the whole rebellion was revealed. The old general's deputy colluded with the alien remnants, stole technology, and sent out rebellion signals, intending to subvert the core of the Federation and dominate the galactic mineral veins and energy sources. Ziqing's E-7 broke into the core, her will merged with the mecha, and her intuition flashed like a star map. She shouted, Team, lock on the flagship. Haoran, full energy, Yunshi, the ultimate virus, crush them. The energy cannon was charged to the top, the blue glow flourished, and an arc of destruction merged with the team's power and penetrated the flagship node. The explosion was like a starburst, the mutinous heavy patrol was scattered, and the aftermath of the green cannon was dim. Ziqing's E-7 stabilized in the firelight, and the pulsation of the mecha merged with her heartbeat. She slid the lever sideways to avoid the last wave of pulses, and her heart surged to the peak. From pursuing clues to leading the counterattack, this power was not given by the mecha, but the web woven by the team. The wreckage of the mutinous flagship tilted slowly, and the black hole tide pulled at it, but the expedition fleet advanced like a long dragon of blue flames, and the red light of the ruins turned into the glory of victory. The commander's mercy signal flashed, and Ziqing said coldly, surrender, or disappear into ashes, the Federation's watch cannot be tarnished. Her decision was like the afterglow of an energy cannon, and the team responded like a flood. In the flames of war, the shadow of conspiracy gradually dissipated, but the crisis of the universe was still as vague as stardust. Lin Haoran shouted excitedly, Boss, the system is stable. The performance of E-7 is beyond the standard, and your intuition has made it alive. After optimization, the next wave is up to you. Yunshi took a last hit on a broken ship. The weaknesses are all cleared, boss, their wild hearts are broken. My sister is watching from the sky. Lao Wang smiled roughly, boss, the rear is cleared, and the supplies are sufficient, the tail of the traitorous dog is wiped out. Uncle Zhong followed, the flanks are all destroyed, E-7 is invincible. Lao Wang's Iron Shark roared to keep up, and the supply beams fired like firecrackers. Boss, I will bite the tail to death from behind. The remnants of these rebellious dogs, the Iron Shark, will swallow up all the remnants of these traitorous dogs. the supply bullets are raining down on their dog holes. There was fire in his rough smile. The victory just now made him more heroic, and the bones of the frontier man were all burning. Uncle Jong's thunder skidded and locked, and responded with a strong voice, "Boss, I'm coming from the flank." The energy track swept across. "The meteorite has an ambush," the green cannon invisible whistle. I thundered to open the way. E7 followed closely. Anti-Shadow's cargo ship threw out the electromagnetic net, blocking the gap in the meteorite. Shouting, "My net covers the middle road, and all roundabouts are blocked. These King's Baden's fortress is like an old cottage, and my electromagnetic bomb smashed the door." Adjutant Xingmang's scanning beam flashed sharply, and he said with a thick border accent, "Boss, the outer shield of the fortress is triple-layered, and the internal database is connected to the rebel center. The weak point is at the vent on the south wing, where Yunxi's virus code can get in. Formation is on. Mecha commandos are ready." Ziqing's E7 hovered in the flames of the wreckage. Its blue shield was like a pulsing heart. The engines of the expedition fleet roared in unison, and the blue flames headed straight towards the final source of the mutiny signal, the core fortress. It was the black fortress of the N47.2 star field, a giant alloy barrier reef floating in the meteorite belt. The green cannon array flashed like fangs, hiding the rotten roots of rebellion. The commander's flagship has become an iron coffin, and the mercy signal is intermittent, but Ziqing's channel is as calm as ice. All the team, advance to the fortress. Lao Wang, sweep up the rear. Uncle Zhong, explore the flanks. Aunt Shadow, block the electromagnetic circuits. Lin Haoran was moving quickly in the engineering cabin of the mothership, and the data screen was beating like a star map. He was welding and shouting, "Boss, all logistics are in place. Energy module sharing has been pushed to the limit. The quantum filter of E7 has been upgraded, and the heat dissipation of the gun barrel has been doubled. The flanks I locked the shield at the far end. Don't let the green light get close. My engineering arm has been deployed. Repairers on call." His voice was pragmatic and excited, and the trust of the team made him move like the wind. The newly optimized E7 made him as proud as a frontier blacksmith. The fleet approached the fortress, and the green cannon pulses were like a torrential downpour, locking onto the blue flame dragon. The alarm of the rebel fortress sounded like a ghost cry, and the loudspeaker was distorted. "Remnants of the Federation, the blueprint of E7 is our legacy. Fully fire up the energy cannons of the core fortress, let it be wiped out." The south wing artillery array was booming, and the green light arc penetrated the meteorite, grazed the Iron Shark's shield, and sparks flew everywhere. Lao Wang roared and counterattacked, suppressing one of the supply beams. "Boss," the green cannon gritted its teeth. Iron Shark held up, and the bullets rained down, blast their barrels. Uncle Zhong's thunder rolled to dodge, locked the heat dissipation vent and blasted out. "The flank gap is open. Boss, your E7 is the leader. I will follow and tear them apart. These rebels dare to steal technology to build their own nests, and I, Uncle Zhong, will not let you go." Ziqing pulled the stick and dived. The E7's engine roared, and the blueprint interface merged with her intuition to pull out the afterimage as if she had predicted it. She switched channels and her voice was like a war drum. "Team, the Mecha assault begins. Haoran, the energy sharing is full. Yunxi, disintegrate their links. Lao Wang and Uncle Zhong, fire on the flanks to suppress the artillery array. Anti-Shadow and Xingmang, protect E7 in the middle. Go deep into the fortress and smash the center." E7's laser cannon fired continuously, integrating the team's energy. A blue arc melted a green cannon on the south wing, and the explosion fireball illuminated the cracks in the fortress. Her leadership pulsed like a mecha, and there was a brief flash in her heart. From pursuit in the mist to this battlefield, the team's web made her fearless. Yunxi's reconnaissance boat rushed into the meteorite belt like a shadow. The stealth mode was turned on, and the probe beam tapped the shell of the fortress. "Boss, I am infiltrating. The enemy's communication link is full of encryption layers, and my virus code has marked 3 nodes, paralyzing their command. That's it." The fire of revenge is still burning, but now it is the team's sword. She was quick and stabbing, and her sister's revenge was half requited in the explosion of the flagship, but the last piece of rotten flesh was hidden in the core fortress. She gritted her teeth and injected the code, and the boat dodged a cruising mine. Lin Haoran's hands were flying on the console, and the remote engineering arm locked the overload point of the E-7. "Boss, the system is stable. The energy flow is synchronized, and the flank shields are supported. Lao Wang's Iron Shark engine is hot, and I am repairing it. Logistics ammunition is pushed up. Don't let the green light break our legs." His pragmatic teasing made the channel breathe a sigh of relief, and the excitement was mixed with the pride of the frontier craftsman. The performance of the E-7 exceeded the standard entirely due to his hands. The battlefield is like a furnace, and the fire of energy cannons reflects the starry sky. Aunt Yueying's electromagnetic net blocked the circuitous route, and the bullets were like firecrackers. "Shao Qing, the middle road is stable. The green light is flying on my net. These ghosts in the palace want to swallow the Milky Way mineral veins. My electromagnetic bombs block their way, and the whole family will stand up." Lieutenant Xingmang guided the formation. "Boss, focus the firepower on the south wing." Yunshi's code it worked. Suspicion arose within the rebel party. The formation pressed forward, and the E-7s broke in. Lao Wang roared for supplies. "Boss, the bullets are raining down on the gun barrel, and my Iron Shark bites off the leg. Victory is in sight. The frontier man will not retreat." Uncle Zhong followed up with a strong voice. "Locked the explosion. Boss, the layout is amazing. The flanks are fully opened." Ziqing's E-7 took advantage of the aftermath of the explosion to drift deep into the cracks of the fortress. The blue shields were stacked layer by layer, and the intuition amplified the locking center. The green cannon's aftermath passed over her body, and the mecha trembled. She cursed in a low voice. "Haoran, overload repair. Yunshi, the leader's cabin is exposed. The whole team is covering. I'll go in and end this mess." The E-7's energy cannon buzzed in preheating and penetrated an inner wall, revealing the core cabin. The rebel leader, an old general's deputy with scars on his face, piloted a twisted green cannon mecha, and the shield glowed green. He roared into the loudspeaker. "The successor of E-7? Do you think a team can win? The Federation is rotten. Our rebellion is a new life. Come to a duel, little girl." Yunshi's boat got into the vent, and the virus code pierced the communication core like a needle. "Boss, half of the nodes are paralyzed. Their chain of command is messed up, the green cannon array is out of sync, and the flanking wolves are wandering around. I marked the leader's cabin, where the rebel leader is hiding, and the old general's deputy. He is a bastard who colluded with the remnants of the alien party." She scolded with a brisk smile. "Sister's ship tracers confirmed that his men stole the prototype of the energy cannon. I fired the ultimate code and disintegrated the entire chain. The probe was injected, the enemy channel exploded, the green cannon fired continuously, and several self-exploded black smoke. Ziqing's E-7 rolled and hedged, laser-assisted sweeping, and the mechas were merged into one. Rebirth? Stealing technology and betraying the country, calling it rebirth? Your conspiracy has been fully exposed, colluding with the alien remnants to swallow the mineral veins. The teams watches the root of the galaxy." Her voice was tenacious, and her leadership growth flashed at this moment, from the edge of suspicion to the net that resolved the entire team. The leader's green cannon pulse fired directly, and E-7 dodged intuitively and pulled out a blue arc to counterattack. Energy sharing poured in from the logistics, and the muzzle was booming. Lin Haoran shouted urgently, "Boss, the energy is fully charged." My engineering arm has locked your shield. The green cannon's weakness is in the core chip, Yunshi, make up for it. Yunshi's boat made additional damage on the periphery, and the virus code penetrated into the leader's mecha. Boss, the chip is exposed. His chain of command is broken, and there is an internal rebellion. The party begins to surrender. My sister's revenge will be fully avenged today. Lara Wang's rear firepower suppressed the perimeter. Boss, I'm supplying beam guard E7, bite that old fox. Uncle Zhong roared from the flank. Lock the chip, boss, I will follow Lei Ming. The duel is won, the rebellion is broken. Ziqing's E7 stabilized the cabin, the mecha's pulse and heartbeat became one, and she switched channels. Team, the leader has fallen. The suspicion has been resolved, and the chain of rebellion has been broken, but the data shows that the alien threat is still behind. Haoran, recover the blueprint. Yunshi, scan the remnants, proceed with the cleanup, the fortress is ours. The team responded enthusiastically, and Lara Wang laughed roughly. Head son, it's amazing. My iron shark has cleared its tail. Yunshi said briskly, boss, the data is all solved, and the revenge is complete, but the root of the universe is deep. Lin Haoran was excited. The system is stable, E7 is invincible. The logistics are in place, and the next wave will follow you. In the flames of war, the green light of the fortress gradually disappeared, and the blue flame dragon entrenched itself, but outside the stardust, unknown crises were approaching like a tide. Ziqing's E7 hovered in the smoke and dust of the core cabin, the blueprint interface was still pulsing slightly, and the recovered data chips were embedded in her cockpit like cold evidence. The blueprints of alien runes flashed on the screen, faintly revealing a deeper shadow. The rebellion was not just a trick of the insider, but also supported by alien species from the edge of the universe. Most of the green light in the fortress has been extinguished, and the team's blue flame dragon is entrenched in the ruins. The scanning beam is spread out like a fishing net, catching the scattered remnants of the rebel party. But outside Stardust, an alarm suddenly sounded, and Starlight Adjutant's voice quickly cut into the channel. Boss, scan for changes. There is a surge of energy deep in the fortress. Not all of the rebellious private armies are dead. They are gathering the remaining fleets and rushing out from behind the meteorite belt. The green cannon prototypes driven by alien runes are all stolen lost technologies, and there are many of them, and they are outflanking us. Ziqing pulled the lever to fine-tune the posture of E7, and the blue shield automatically unfolded. Her eyes locked on the group of red dots on the screen, and her heart flashed briefly. This is their last fight. They must protect the team and accumulate energy for the final blow. Her voice was as steady as a frontier rock, resounding throughout the frequency range. Listen, the whole team, the rebels are jumping over the wall, the remnant army is coming. Lara Wang and Uncle Zhong, hold the iron walls on the flanks, anti-shadow, the electromagnetic net in the middle is full, seal their dog holes. Xingmang, guide the formation and disperse. Haoran, the logistics defense fully open the defense, strengthen the shields of E7 and Iron Shark, we will not retreat, defend the fortress, the root of the galaxy is here. Her words were like war drums, and the victory in the duel just now made the team's anger even more intense. From the edge of suspicion to the current monolith, it was all thanks to the web she weaved step by step. Lara Wang's Iron Shark engine roared, and the supply beams went off like firecrackers. His rough smile was filled with anger. Boss, I will bite these scraps to death from behind. Prototype green cannon? My Iron Shark's bullets all smashed into their private nests. Frontier men are not afraid of dog bites. Top it. The Iron Shark rolled and slid sideways, with shields stacked on top of each other. The engine that had just been repaired by Lin Haoran was fully activated. A hail of bullets hit the red dot on the flank, and explosive fireballs bloomed among the meteorites. Uncle Jong's thunder followed, with a strong voice like thunder. "Boss, I'm locking the flanks." The energy tracks are all swept away. These green cannons have an alien smell. I blast away their outflanking with thunder. I won't spare these traitorous dogs. The thunder's muzzle boomed, penetrating a rebellious remnant ship. Fragments rained down, but more green light shot out from the cracks in the meteorite, and the pulsar grazed the edge of the iron shark, causing sparks to fly. The battlefield instantly turned into chaos. The remnants of the mutinous army rushed at them like mad dogs. The green cannon prototype Mecha twisted and flickered. Alien runes glowed on the barrel, and the rate of fire was twice as fast as that of the fortress. Aunt Yingying's cargo ship threw out an electromagnetic net to block the gap in the middle. She fired while shouting, "Xiaoqing, the net is full." These bastard remnants are like the bandits of the old days who took the back route, and my electromagnetic bomb smashed their legs. Hold on as a family, don't let the green light take advantage of the gap in the middle. The net cover spread out like a spider silk, entangled the two green gunners, and the arc exploded, but a rune pulse broke through and hit Xingguang's scanning boat, causing the hull to tremble. Adjutant Xingmang gritted his teeth and held his ground. "Boss, tighten the formation. The rebel party has 20 ships, and its weakness is at the core of the rune. Yunshi, please hurry up with the information. I will direct the firepower to concentrate." Lin Haoran's hands and feet were like wind in the engineering cabin of the mothership, and the data screen was beating like a star map. His remote engineering arm locked the E7's shield module, welding, and shouting, "Boss, the defense is being strengthened. The quantum filter is pushed to the limit, and the anti-interference is fully enabled." I added an energy network to the E7's blueprint interface to block the green cannon pulse. Lara Wang's Iron Shark engine overheated. I'm repairing the synchronization, and the shield blessing will not let them get close. Logistics energy sharing locks the whole team, and the ammunition is pushed up, and my engineering arm is on call. His voice was pragmatic and urgent, with excitement mixed with the enthusiasm of a frontier blacksmith. The blueprint he had just recovered made his mind work fast. While optimizing the E7, he was repairing Uncle Jong's thunder shield remotely. The green light grazed the edge of the mothership. He cursed lowly and moved faster. "Haoran, hold still. There are loopholes in these rune barrels. I will weave a net to block them." Yunshi's reconnaissance boat shuttled through the meteorite belt like a shadow. The stealth mode was turned on. The probe beam tapped the shell of the green cannon prototype. She cut into the channel briskly and stabbingly. "Boss, I penetrated the link of the remnant army. The last intelligence came. Their weakness is in the rune core cabin, which hides the energy source of the alien remnants. The virus code has marked 5 nodes. Paralysis will cause the green cannon to self-destruct. The fire of revenge is burned out, but now it is the team's knife, the leading ship on the flank. The rune overload point is exposed. Uncle Jong, Lara Wang, put the fire there." Her hull dodges a wandering mine and injects the ultimate code. The enemy channel explodes instantly, and several green cannon mechas tremble out of control, and black smoke rises from the collision. But the remnants of the mutinous army made a desperate move. More prototypes rushed to the middle, green light rain poured down, and Anti-Shadow's grill was torn open. Ziqing's E7 dived to protect the middle road. The blue arc counterattack swept through a green cannon, and the laser assisted to melt its barrel. She pulled the lever and rolled to dodge the pulse. Her voice was as tough as steel. "Yunshi, use the code." The whole team follows up and protect Anti-Shadow's net. "Haoran, energy sharing pushed E7 and thunder. I locked the rune core, accumulating energy for the final blow." E7's energy cannon buzzed in preheating. The team's sharing flow poured in. The blueprint interface overloaded and merged with her intuition, and the shields were stacked to block the green light. She slid sideways to block a pulse aimed at the star. Blue sparks exploded and the mecha trembled slightly. However, she roared back and penetrated the core of the prototype. The aftermath of the explosion protected the scanner ship. "Boss, this is amazing." Xinguang gasped in response, "Stable formation, fire transfer rune points." The battle was like a furnace. The rune pulses of the remnants of the green cannons penetrated the meteorite and brushed against the Iron Shark's shield. Lao Wang roared to withstand it. "Boss, I bite the flank. The rain of bullets is crushing these green dogs. The engine is hot but will not retreat, the spirit of the frontier is strong, the team is united, I am the Iron Shark at full strength." Uncle Zhong followed up with a thunderous voice, his strong voice filled with fire. "Lock the core of the rune, boss, your E7 protects us, I will destroy this outflank, unyielding, the Milky Way mineral vein belongs to the Federation." Lin Haoran shouted urgently, "Haoran is repairing, the shield is doubled." "Boss, E7 has accumulated 70% energy, don't overload too early, Yunshi, give the extra code to Lao Wang." Yunshi chuckled and replied, "The code is launched, 3 rune nodes are paralyzed." "Boss, all weaknesses are exposed, the internal rebels are beginning to collapse, sisters' hatred is over, but these aliens are rotten, I will protect E7, the team goes home." Ziqing shuttled through the chaos, E7's intuition amplified as predicted, and pulled out the afterimage to protect Anti-Shadow's cargo ship. A green light shot straight into the middle, she dived to intercept, the blue arc melted the muzzle, and the energy flow accumulated 80% simultaneously. Her will pulses like a mecha, motivating the whole channel. "Listen, the whole team. From the edge planet to this star field, our network has blocked suspicion and smashed the conspiracy. Now, protect each other, Galaxy Watch is in hand. Haoran, withstand the defense. Yunshi, guide the weakness. Lao Wang and Uncle Zhong, firepower to suppress the runes. Shadow, Xingmang, the iron wall in the middle, the final blow, I will finish it." The team responded. Like the tide, Lao Wang laughed roughly, "Boss, we are all attentive. We are behind the throne." Anti-Ying shouted, "Shao Qing, the whole family is supported. The network is repaired, the green light cannot fly in." Zhong Shuzhuang shouted, "Fully open the wings, the boss is invincible." Lin Haoran was excited, "The system is stable, the energy is 90%, E7 is ready to overload." Yunshi said briskly, "Weaknesses are locked, boss, your intuition is in line with mine, the team is invincible." The leader's mecha trembled, the green light dimmed, and he twisted and shouted, "Impossible, my private army, the empire of the galaxy." Ziqing pulled the lever and dived, E7's energy cannon charged to its peak, the blueprint interface overloaded, and an arc of destruction merged with the team's power and penetrated the chip. The explosion was like a starburst, the leader's mecha was torn apart, the core hatch exploded, and the entire rebellion database was leaked. The rune blueprint of the alien remnants, with the intention of paralyzing the entire Federation's borders and monopolizing the energy source. The rune core cabin of the remnant Green Cannon army was exposed, the red light of overloaded energy flashed, and the twisted roar of the traitorous commander amplified, "Successor of E7, your team's dream is shattered. The rune empire of the alien allies will devour the federal border, the general attack is fully launched, Grey, fly." But Ziqing's E7 is locked, the blueprint interface is buzzing at the top, the energy cannon is ready to go, the team's blue flames are coiled like a dragon's spine. In the flames of war, the edge of the decisive battle is close at hand, and the rune glow of the alien crisis is still faintly pulsing outside the stardust. Ziqing's E7 mecha was hovering in the stardust vortex, the blueprint interface was pulsing like a heart, the energy cannon's preheating buzz had reached its peak, and 90% of the savings were surging like a tidal wave. She glanced at the screen, and the red light at the core of the rune was exposed. The distorted roars of the alien allies were still echoing in the channel, but the team's long blue flame dragons were coiled like iron spines, protecting the remains of the fortress. The green cannon prototype mechas from the remnants of the mutinous army rushed towards them. Dozens of twisted figures sprang out from the meteorite belt. The runes glowed like poisonous snakes spitting messages, trying to swallow up this last resistance. Ziqing adjusted the lever slightly, and E7's shield glowed brightly. She responded with a low roar, "Roger, Yunshi." "The whole team is on the line, Haoran, the energy sharing is full. E7 is going to overload the fusion blueprint and restore the true form of the lost mecha." Her intuition was like prediction. Zoomed in, the data chip was embedded into the interface, blueprint runes instantly poured into the system, the shell of E7 trembled, ancient lost technology awakened, the barrel extended into an energy network, the blue light of the fuselage skyrocketed, transforming from a novice prototype into a legendary beast of destruction. There was a brief flash in my heart, from being a stupid young man on the edge of the planet to now guarding the Milky Way. This step-by-step fire has burned out the steel in my bones. "Boss, the rune cores are all marked." Yunshi's voice was brisk and relieved. Her reconnaissance boat flashed past the edge of a green cannon like a ghost, and the probe injected the last dose of virus code. My ultimate code paralyzed their link, and the beacon position was locked, right in the deep cabin of the lead ship, where the alien rot is hidden. Follow your intuition, E7's blueprint interface can accurately locate. Don't let these bullies surround you. Lin Haoran spun around in the engineering cabin of the mothership, and the far end of the engineering arm locked the E7 module. He shouted excitedly, "Boss, the fusion is stable. The quantum filter is fully opened, the anti-interference blocks the rune pulse, the energy sharing is pushed to the limit, the shield of the E7 is doubled, and the barrel heat dissipation is welded to death. Don't be afraid of overload, my blacksmiths are holding on fiercely." Lao Wang and Uncle Zhong synchronized their flank firepower with E7 to protect the middle, anti-shadow, tighten the electromagnetic net to seal their dog hole, Starlight, guide the formation to press on the core of the rune. The team works together, this blow will destroy the root of the rebellion. Lao Wang's Iron Shark engine roared like the rough breathing of a frontier man. He rolled and slid, and the bullets rained down on the green cannons. "Boss, the divine mecha has awakened." The Iron Shark, bit off the tail of the back, these green dogs' runes cannon barrel. I smashed their private nests, the backbone of the frontier is strong, don't take a step back. A round of beam firecrackers blasted through the two prototypes, and the explosive fireball exploded among the meteorites, and the fragments scattered like fireworks. But the green light pulse counterattacked, grazing the edge of the Iron Shark, the shield sparks flying. Lao Wang cursed lowly, and the engine heat was fully turned on to withstand it. Aunt Yueying's cargo ship threw out an electromagnetic net to block the gap in the middle. She fired while shouting, "Xiaoqing, the whole family is holding on. After the net is repaired, these remnants of bastards are like bandits in the old days, taking the back road. I will smash them with electromagnetic bombs. Their legs, the iron wall in the middle, the blueprint to protect E7. The web spread out like a spider web, entangled the three green cannons, and the arc exploded, tearing a hole, but a rune pulse broke through and hit Xinguang's scanner boat directly. Adjutant Xingmang gritted his teeth and stabilized the formation. "Boss, tighten the formation. The rebel party has reduced its size to 15 ships. The weaknesses are all in the core of the rune, concentrated firepower, E7 guidance, and I scan to confirm the beacon pulse." The distorted voice of the renegade commander taunted through the loudspeaker, "Heirs of the lost mecha, your team is like ants. The alien Rune Empire will engulf the frontier, green cannons are fully activated, and they will be wiped out. The green cannon group gathered and accelerated, the rune light wandered around the gun barrel, the rate of fire was like a storm, the pulse light arc swept across the long dragon of blue flames, and the edge of the mothership trembled slightly. Ziqing's E-7 dived to intercept, pulling out the afterimage to protect the team. A blue arc counterattack melted the leading ship's gun muzzle. Her voice was as tough as steel. Listen, team. From the edge of suspicion to this star field, our net blocked the conspiracy and burned out the aliens. Rotten roots, now, protect each other, galaxy watches in hand. Yunshi, the beacon is positioned accurately and guided. Haoran, the defense withstands the overload. Lao Wang and Uncle Zhong, the firepower suppresses the runes. Shadow, Xingmang, the middle road is flawless, the final blow, end this shit. Uncle Zhong's thunder followed up with a roar. Boss, I'm locking the flanks. The energy traces are all swept away, and the heat dissipation vents of the green cannons are exposed. I thunder blasted away their outflanking. The Milky Way veins belong to the Federation, and these traitors will not be spared. The thunder's muzzle boomed, penetrating the flank of a leading ship, and the rune core trembled, but more remnant troops rushed forward, green light rained down, and the battlefield was tumbling like a furnace. Yunshi's hull dodged the cruising thunder and injected the last code. Boss, the beacon is locked. The core compartment of the alien rune is deep in the lead ship, and the energy source is overloaded. My virus disintegrated their shields, intuition, and my probe, E-7 accurately positioned it, and smashed it with one shot. Her briskness was mixed with the residual heat of revenge, the hull protected the E-7 flanks, the team's shared flow poured in, and the energy cannon was at its peak. Ziqing took a deep breath, her will merged with the blueprint, and her intuition was as vast as the Milky Way. She locked onto the beacon, and E-7's lost mecha body fully awakened, its barrel extended into a blade of destruction, and its energy overload buzzed to the sky. Everyone in the team, spread out the wings, energy cannon, fire. The blue light surged, and the destructive energy cannon fell like a meteor, accurately penetrating the rune core of the lead ship. The green light of the beacon explosion instantly disintegrated, and the alien energy source swallowed the surrounding green cannon groups like a black hole. The shock wave swept across like a tidal wave, the prototype mecha twisted and exploded, and the fragments rained stardust. The renegade remnant army surrounded them like ice and snow melted, and the 20-ship fleet was wiped out in the aftermath of the blue flames. Lin Haoran shouted for a last-ditch attack. Haoran repair is fully activated. E-7 energy is 100%. The shield network is dead. The quantum lock pulse is blocked. Boss, fire it. My engineering arm is on call. The team is going home. The team responded in waves, and Lao Wang smiled roughly. Boss, all my heart is invincible. My iron shark clears its tail, and the rain of bullets crushes these green scum. Anti-Shadow shouted. Xiaoqing, the net is full, the whole family is stunned. Zhong Shuzhuang roared. Open the flanks, and the leader will hit the country with one strike. Xingmang gasped. Formation is iron-blooded, beacon guidance is locked. The battlefield was silent for a moment, leaving only the low cry of meteorites and the team's breathing. Ziqing's E-7 trembled as it landed on the ground. The fortress was in ruins, its shields were restrained, and its blueprint interface was flat. She cut into full frequency, her voice carrying the warmth of the frontier. The whole team has won. The rebellion was crushed, the alien shadows were burned away, the roots of the Milky Way are defended. Lin Haoran was the first to respond, with excitement mixed with the pride of a blacksmith. Boss, the E-7 is perfect. My repair was not in vain, the energy module is rock solid, the remaining enemy is being scanned, the mothership logistics are fully activated, repair the ship and go home. His engineering arm has already cleaned up the rune residue remotely, and the quantum filter blocked the last pulse. Yunshi's reconnaissance boat approached and the stealth mode was released. She chuckled and cut in. "Boss, the beacon has been completely disintegrated. My virus code has achieved a complete revenge, the alien rotten root has been broken, and my sister's secret has been buried in the stardust. I will always follow the team's knife. Go home and have a cup of hot frontier wine?" Her hull swept over the wreckage, and the probe confirmed that there were no survivors, and the warmth of belonging was revealed in the briskness. Lara Wang's Iron Shark engine roared as it landed on the shore, and he laughed loudly. "Boss, from the frontier to the legend, my Iron Shark bit off the last tail. All these green dogs are destroyed, the supply beam is turned on, I invite you to the celebration party, the backbone of a man, burn out the peace of the galaxy." Uncle Zhong's thunder followed, and his strong voice was joyful. "Boss, divine strike. The flanks have been cleared, and the mineral veins are protected, unyielding fire, the Federation owes you a great contribution." The Federation's rescue fleet surged in like a blue tide. Under the guidance of Adjutant Starlight, they headed straight for the fortress. Medical beams and supply fleets were deployed, and tranquility returned to the frontier star field. Ziqing jumped out of the E-7 cockpit, stepped on the metal of the fortress, and looked at the faces of the team. From the scattered suspicions to the long iron-blooded dragon, the journey was as bright as a galaxy. Peace emerged within her. The confusion of a newbie was burned away in exchange for the honor of being a watcher. Lin Haoran patted her on the shoulder, Yunshi handed over the data chip, and Lara Wang handed over the hot wine. Everyone sat around the ruins, laughing and recalling the adventure that started from the Edge planet, the awakening of the lost Mecha, the decoding of the mutiny signal, the assembly of the expedition fleet. Every step was woven into the web of the galaxy. Aunt Shadow's cargo ship threw out the last electromagnetic net to seal off the scattered fragments. She shouted humorously, "Shao Qing, the whole family is on top. The net cover is closed, the middle road is as stable as a mountain, the bandits in the old days couldn't steal it, and the galaxy is safe. I'll take some wreckage home to sell?" Adjutant Starlight confirmed the scan. "Boss, the whole area is clear. The formation is disbanded, the federal signal is on, E7's blueprint, sent back to the headquarters, you are a hero." The dim light at the edge of the universe fades, and peace spreads like the morning sun. Ziqing raised the glass and said in a gentle and firm voice, "Partners, from the time we were here, we not only found the mechas, but also found each other. Galaxy Watch will never die." The team's laughter echoed in the stardust, and the hero's legend ended in the glorious sea of stars.